Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, I should say welcome to those of you who just found this video, and welcome back to those of you who were at the other video, the channeling. When I came out of the channeling, I thought I had hit pause and I hit stop. I'm like, oh no. And I don't know how to do, I don't have fancy software, but anyway, you know me, everything happens for a reason. So I am taking that as okay. So this is a continuation. Maybe the channeling wasn't for you. Maybe you want to go back and watch the channeling. But today we are going to be doing a group pick a reading. And I thought they were going to be together, but they weren't. But I feel like we're following the breadcrumbs though. So follow the breadcrumbs. And also, I just want to say, with grace and gratitude, welcome to all of you and to your angels, your guides, your people, whomever they are, because there are energies here that I have never felt before. Very, very, very strong, very powerful. It feels like dragons, so either it's a dragon that I've never met before, or it's like coming up through my throat chakra, like I can't even explain. Like it wants to I almost like want to vomit out something. I don't know how to explain it, if that makes any sense. Like like literally. I know that's fierce, but like I feel like that's what they want us all to do right now, is to like allow yourself to feel, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do it. Like, I had to swallow for a minute because it just like, but it feels so uncomfortable. And it feels as if there's this pain and this suffering, and you're non-communicating, if that makes anything. I feel it makes any sense. I feel like this is a continuation from the channeling, but it's also like to let you guys know that there is something and someone here that is so strong and so fierce, that I actually brought in oregano. So you may want to work with oregano. These are the energies that we are going to work with as a collective. And I think we're going to come back to that because it's starting to ease back a little bit, but oh man, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. And it's almost like this discomfort that's so horrible. And I feel like for some of you, it's literally a physical thing. Like maybe like, you know, I know that my partner, they had something happen with their neck, with their throat. And now for the rest of their life, when they swallow every day, it's like a challenge. And so it could be that you're literally physically going through something, and it's making me actually like feel his physical pain, and I just want to cry for him right now. Sending you so much love. And then also it feels a very strong chakra, like throat chakra, like you've got to cough it up, you've got to let it go. It's odd that they don't have my face. I was like, you don't want me to have my face on there? Like, I'm totally okay with whatever they want me to do. But when I watch these readings, I don't think it's weird that I can't see their face, that it's focused on the message and the crystals, because the crystals want to speak to you. You know what I mean? The cards want to speak to you. Spirit wants to speak to you. You know, all of these beautiful, you know, entities and energies want to speak with all of us today. But that's the big thing that they're saying is like, you know, don't be what are you trying to say, Spirit? They're kind of saying something like, don't be dissuaded by, you know, the glitz and the glamour, or seeing someone's face, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can go in there like, hi you guys, you know what I mean? Like I'm there, you know what I mean? But it can be distracting too. Sometimes it's just meant for you to like be in the moment. Also, I've always talked a lot with my hands, and it would drive some people crazy. But interestingly enough, I feel like that is kind of what they're saying. Also, my rings are over there, and I hardly ever not have my rings on, but it was almost like they're like, it's too much. Like all my crystals and all, they're like, there's so much going on right now, but the turquoise sends their love. So I'm going to set these down right now because I feel like these energies are going towards you. And if you're curious, we have bloodstone. This, I'm not sure what this is. This was one of those that was like in a bin that like I'm like, I don't know. A polished stone. I want to say it's an agate of some kind, but if you know, if you're like if you're a crystal expert, please, I always say please like weigh in on it. Interestingly enough, Deborah, the Hedge Witch Tarot, I love her. She is definitely a beacon of light for all of us on the planet, and I'm so grateful Spirit brought her into my orbit. Also, I want to let you guys know that the whole morning it's been overcast and cold, and after being like really hot, and so very, very interesting that I started talking about her, and the sun is coming out. Thank you, Ra. And the blue skies are coming through now. Interesting, right? So gray skies are gonna clear up. I feel like Spirit's like, that's what this message is about, and we're gonna get to that. But anyway, so what Deborah was talking about was working with our crystals again, like really, or working with them for the first time. But for those of us who, like, maybe you have them in the house and yeah, you work with them, but like really talking to them, like that this is a tiger's eye. Okay. And if you, oh man, this one's so, I'm like mesmerized right now. I'm like mesmerized. I'm like, what? But that's what they want us to get back into, because they are encrypted with messages, all of these crystals. So that's what I was trying to say, is that Deborah has brought a segment back with crystals. And if you guys remember, in the old days when I had Lula's Labyrinth, before it became the Magical Medium, I did a lot of stuff with crystals. That was always crystals were always my first love. Are you kidding? I'm an angel. I'm from the outer realms. Like, I love sparkly, pretty things, you know. I'm like, ooh, you know. So clear quartz crystal. This one, ooh, and talk about an amplifier. Maybe you can feel these. Can you guys feel the energies coming off of these right now? And, you know, of course, back here we've got the trusty, dusty selenite tower. We're going to get, and then back here we have an apophyllite. I feel like we'll pick that up later, but we're going to get to this too. And then we've got labradorite. I love, this was one of my favorite pieces ever gifted to me. One side is raw and the other side is polished. And why I love them both is they give off so, like, the polished one reminds me of like outer space. I love it. It's so awesome, and in different shades and different lighting. Like, you can, ooh, look at that. Like, see, like it looks like a river and like a town and shit. Like, there's so much going on. They're like, the messages are right there. People are getting too wrapped up in like what the fuck's going on in the outer world instead of like what's going on at home. Then we've got an amethyst right here. And then I have to show you guys this. So recently on the summer solstice, my husband and I, we went up to the Olympic Mountains. It's one of our favorite places to go. And we went up there and spent solstice there. It was so magical. The whole day was so magical. We met this little fairy witch and her kids. And it was just really cool. It was just really, really, really cool. And I had this connection with her daughter. It was just like instant. Anyway, we had so much fun playing together. But this piece of wood this kind of looks like a dog, doesn't it? Like an ear and an eye, and like the dog's carrying a stick in the nose. Do you see that? I'm like, do you see what I see? Instead of do you hear what I hear, it's like, do you see what I see? But this is such a great piece. But anyway, so I saw it in the water and I almost forgot about it. Look at this, looks like a claw or something. Like, what the fuck? This looks like a nail. Do you guys see what I see? Like, this looks like a knuckle. Yeah, please comment below whatever you see. These look like antlers now. But they made such an impression on me, and I hope I made an impression on them. Look at that. I mean, so this is magical, right? But I have to show you. I've got my water here. I have so much oil all over my hands. Sorry if I almost dropped my water. Okay, so I took a sip of water. Drink some water. We were talking in the last episode, we were talking about the Cancer energy and water. And anyway, I'm gonna drop a little on here. Because wait till you guys see how different it looks once it's wet. So I kind of showed it to you dry. Right? So there's the dry. But then, and here's it dry. But then I'm going to get it wet so you can see. So we were talking about a lot of different things. Channeling. It's just water. It's not going to hurt my rug. But I want you to see like the beauty of nature too. And we were talking about the Cancer energy. And right now in real time, it's Monday the 15th. And we are approaching the blue moon of Capricorn. the full moon. We were bookended with Capricorn energy. Look at how different it looks. Like now look at this, like with an eye. It kind of looks like an elephant or like a cool looking bird. Do you see that? Oh my gosh. I love nature. You should have seen it when it was in the water. This looks like a dragon. When it was in the water, I almost didn't want to take it because it was so fucking cool. And I was like, no, I don't want to take this. Like somebody else should see this. They're like, no, you need to take it. And I'm like, okay. So I'll either bring it back to whence it came. Ooh, this looks like a wolf or something. Do you guys see that? Like the veins in it and how different. I don't have fancy software or lighting, but you get the picture, right? And here's that apophyllite. This is a good friend of mine. Anyway, I feel like I'm coming back to life. It's almost like I took a year off, you know, because I was doing the readings, you know, on the moon cycles religiously, you know, for like 15 months, I think I did it. Maybe longer, I don't remember. Anyway, what's so powerful is that now that I'm kind of getting back into my stuff, kind of, you know, Stella's getting her groove back. Ooh, that's cool. I've been feeling this real potent energy of divine feminine. Ooh, that's so interesting because this feels very phallic right now. It's almost like it wanted to come out of the picture. Like, I feel like the apophyllite wants to come down here. We're changing the show a little bit. Yeah, this is so interesting because when I was in my meditation with Spirit, sometimes they'll give it to me all up front and I'll see everything we're going to do. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes they give it to me piece by piece like this. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a channeling, then this group, you know, pick a reading, but we did the channeling. Now we're kind of doing this group energy reading. And then we're going to go into the Star Spinner Tarot. Okay, so where do you want to start? So I'm like, Spirit, where do you want to start? Because there's notes, there are things that are, you know, okay, so here is the theme. Obviously, you've already seen it because it's in the title. But here, once again, is our theme for this reading. Where is your faith being tested? And what is it teaching you? I was like, wow. I was like, I didn't even know where to begin because a few days ago on the 13th was the first quarter moon, and I had all these plans for what I thought it was going to be, and I wanted to do, you know, because the first quarter moon's about taking action on your intentions, you know, that you set in this new moon cycle. But then I started to think about it, and I'm like, is it really a new moon though? Even though it's a new moon in Cancer, we're still in the Capricorn energy too. So there's like all this really interesting energy. By the way, out of nowhere, like my stomach started to feel sick, and I'm getting this shooting back pain again. So in the last reading, we spoke about that you're working too hard, you're doing too much, and I feel like if you didn't see that last reading, this is another reminder from Spirit that you need to slow down. You need to slow down. We all need to slow down. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, summer is that time where we feel, you know, we want to take on the world, we want to just go have fun, you know, blah, blah, blah. And Spirit's saying, no, like this is our time to like really like sink into who we are. When I looked down, it was 1349. Oh, which 49 is 13. And what is that? 13 is 1 and 3 is 4. This is all tying in together. I just posted a shorts for the Emperor number 4 in the Fairy Tarot and about being a leader and all this. So you take from it what you will. I'm like, follow the breadcrumbs, because with all these channels, I also just did, I apologize for that. The windows are open. It's summertime and I live by a highway. Anyway, and I live in a very busy touristy area for the summer. But yeah, it's like we're all getting these, and look at that, a distraction, right? There's so much going on in the summer that's when they're like, this is the time to kind of decompress, take some time for yourself. Solitude is your best friend right now. because they need us to be the strong leaders that we were brought here to be. If you found yourself on this reading, you are a starseed, you are a light worker. The first time I saw this deck, the Star Spinner Tarot, literally the first time I saw it, I felt a magic with it that I was like, it just felt so ethereal. It felt witchy, but also angelic. I just loved it so much. Also, can I tell you that Spirit put my outfit together, and then this is the deck that we're using. I mean, it's and it's so funny because like even like the month and the calendar, like I'm so matchy right now. It's kind of cute. And I swear to you, and all that is holy, I did not plan it. It's so funny. Although, can we talk about my new pants that I'm totally in love with? Oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're like total hippie girl pants. They're palazzo pants, but they're also kind of like what do you call them? Flouncy. I'll have to show like a full picture of them because they're so cool. They're like my new favorite pants. Anyway, with that being said, a lot of energy has been coming forward. I thought I saw the elephant in there, and then also in this, on the cover of one of my notebooks is an elephant, and it has a little mantra. I am alive, I am awake, I am free. And that's from Galactica. I channeled that straight from the universal energies. I believe Galactica is one of the 9 because I feel her. That's what it feels like when I'm working with her. But anyway, so I've got my fun little guides in there if I need them. But I will take a screenshot and put it in the community section as well, to give you that mantra. I am alive, I am awake, I am free, so that you can work with that. But yeah, isn't that so cute? Like how everything like got so cute and matchy. I'm like, I love it. Okay, so with our theme being, where is your faith being tested and what is it teaching you? They're saying work with these universal energies right now. That's why Galactica is coming in. We're talking about the Cancer energy. We're talking about Capricorn, because these energies, they're here for a reason. They were created for a reason. They were divinely created through a process for a reason. There are no mistakes. There are no, like when the channeling, because when I came out of the channeling, I the sun's like in my, you could see like it's really bright. This is natural light, right? So I was like, I had my eyes closed for so long that I was like, oh, I can't see. And so I didn't have my glasses on. So I don't have my glasses on. And so I thought I hit pause, and after I hit stop, I go, oh no. Because I was like, oh, I'm just going to stop and let Bubba in. But it made me laugh because I was like, no, that's the way that it was meant to be. But also it was like a fun cliffhanger where people are like, oh wait, I want to go to that reading, or maybe they're like, oh, whatever, and move on. But yeah, to everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time, okay, do you know what I'm talking about? So I will find the song. Is it the Mamas and the Papas? I feel like I'm going to look at that later and go, what? But you know what song I'm talking about. Anyway, I'll put a link to it. But sometimes when I'm in this mode, it's like something that's so obvious to my third dimensional memory is like, it's almost like this version of me is like, what? It's like, who is that? But I know the song, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Okay, so before we get to the first reading, this is what they want me to read to you. And it's going to sound very familiar to some of you who know whom it is. But for those of you who don't know, I will tell you at the end, because this is a whole thing that's actually been building itself for a while. Okay, so you think you can tell heaven from hell? Blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees? Hot air for a cool breeze? Cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. running over the same old ground. And what have we found? The same old fears. I wish you were here. That's Pink Floyd, for those of you who aren't familiar with Pink Floyd. And if you're not familiar with Pink Floyd, it's about time you introduce yourself, because Pink Floyd will change your life. And they were at a time that they were trying to change the world and to bring the love back in. That's what Spirit is talking about. Where is your faith? Right? Where is your faith? Where is your love? Where is your faith? Where is your faith? Where is your faith? And that is something that, I mean, I had to keep writing it down. I have to go back to it because I was like, wait, what? It's like, because it like they said it, I had to keep saying it until I could find a pen to write it down. Where is your faith being tested? And what is it teaching you? Because right now, you know, we talk a big game about love and this and that. And they're like, yes, but if you had faith in us and faith in yourself and faith in love, then you wouldn't keep asking. You wouldn't be living in the fear, right? Because this song is, so you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? So he's saying, like, you know, can you tell the difference between them? You know, like, are you awake? Are you aware of what's going on? And so he's saying, did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? And I love when he says, did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? So he's saying, like, right, like, especially this was written at a time in Vietnam, you know, where he's like, this is a rough fucking time. Like, these children are like going off to war, and it's not an easy time. You know, it's like, what are you trading it for? And the lead role in a cage is, he's saying, like, for a corporate world, we're gonna like give up life. We're gonna, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you sacrificing? What is the war for? Like, they've been talking us into war forever and telling us that it's in our greatest and highest good, but it's not in our greatest and highest good. It's not in anyone's greatest and highest good. The greatest and highest good for the planet is love. And right now, people are losing their faith in love. And our faith is being tested at every turn. I've been having this in my own personal life. I spoke about this. I'll put a link below on my other channel, Lula's Life, where I spoke candidly about my own personal life, about what's going on. And thank you for all of you that reached out and spoke your truth and said, I understand. Thank you, you know, because we're all going through it in our own lives. We are all going through our own little spiritual war, personal war, you know what I mean? But the irony is, it all leads back to ourselves. If we intrinsically just love and care for ourselves and not concern about, you know, it's like, yes, you have to care for your animal. Yes, you have to, you know, whatever, but we have to take care of ourselves first. You know, this morning, Baba came and pounced on me for breakfast, and I was like, well, if I fall back asleep, I fall back asleep. And if I don't, I'll get up and feed her, you know. But sometimes when she does that, it frustrates me because I'm just like, dude, really? You know, but then I turned on my phone and I saw what time it was. And I was like, okay, you know what? I've had plenty of sleep. I am awake. I said, I'll be right there, and you know, give me a minute to kind of get my bearings. She didn't come back in and bother me again, you know. She was just like, hey, you know, it's been this many hours. I'm really hungry, you know. And I thought I gave her enough food. She didn't have enough food, you know. But of course, I set that boundary with her. We set boundaries with each other, even with our animals. You know, we have to set boundaries and teach each other, and it can be painful at times. So when I was called to bring these words out, you know, it really touches me, especially when they spoke of Did you trade your heroes for ghosts? Right? Because they're like, you want to be like your father or your father's father. Like you want to be like these, they're dead, they're gone. The whole point is that we're here for an evolution, not a revolution. We're here for an evolution. We will stand up in power and numbers, in revolt if we need to, and that's what's happening on the planet. We're standing up and saying, no, enough. We don't want this. We want love. We want peace. This is a beautiful planet. We are so blessed to be here. Stop fucking shitting on her. Stop destroying her. Stop destroying ourselves and each other for power, for greed. No. And we're being tested at every turn. It's like, are you going to still continue to support that thing, that person, that place? Because it's easier? You know? Or do we keep changing, you know, the course? If you found yourself here, you're a leader. I'm a leader. You're a leader. We're leaders. We're leaders. Even if you lead one person, you are a leader. Even, you know, but you could possibly, and think about this. You are the leader in your group, in your story, but then also you're promoting other leaders. And that's what Spirit wants you to see, is that you're promoting other leaders. It's not just about you. So take your time to grieve. Take your time to work through things. But also, mindful madness. Mindful madness. Yes, there's chaos out there. Yes, you need to cry when you need to cry. That's why this Cancer energy is here. We spoke about this in the channeling. They didn't have me continue it, but I see where it's going now. And they're talking about that they named, I mean, I was like, Cancer is a precious sign of the zodiac. It's an astrological energy that was put here to help us and heal us. Yet, an illness, the biggest killer illness on the planet is called cancer. And what is cancer? It's the energy that helps us purge out and cleanse out that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good. Yes, it's a good time to cry and get that shit out, to purge. Right? Cancer, they put a name on it. Just like 13 is the number of the divine feminine, yet they put fear into everybody. Oh, don't put 13. You don't want a 13th floor in your building. Go to some of the old buildings in cities. You will see there is not a 13. There's not a 13th floor. Some didn't believe in that. Some did believe in the divine feminine and purposely put it there. There are crystals and stones that are literally lined in some of the biggest monuments on the planet. There is so much fakery and fuckery out there, and it's your job to see through that. And the best way for you to do that is to get grounded. Is to, when you're in the mindful madness and you need to go back to an old memory, a thought, whatever, get in there, cry it out, work through it, and let it go. When a cancer comes into your body, people go to chemotherapy. Why would you put more poison in your body to kill something? Wouldn't it make more sense to put a healing energy into your body? They get us sick and then we have to pay them to heal us? I have had cancer. I have healed myself. I'm telling you, I've had pancreatitis and healed myself. Actually, Spirit just had me read and record a poem. I'm like, I'll just put links to everything and it'll be, because I feel like they're all tying together. I swear, it's like the fourth thing I did today was this, you know, it was not really a poem so much as like just a, you know, an expression of thought, and it's called Fix It, and I'm going to post it on Lula's Life. But there are just so many things that are coming out now, and we're like, we need to heal ourselves. It's time to heal ourselves. My throat chakra is getting tight again. Don't have fear. You can do this. You can do this. Our faith is being tested, but the love will never change. It's never, ever, ever going to go away. So Spirit's saying, use, you know, and whatever you need to do. I like to have some cannabis and listen to Pink Floyd. But whatever, you know, whatever you want to do. But I urge you to listen to Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, and the whole album if you're called to. They have many albums. This is from the Dark Side of the Moon, I believe. So, you know, and interesting that we're talking about moon. I mean, Cancer is ruled by the moon. And then our double moon is Capricorn, which is a grounded earth, like parental energy. So this is the time to like just really get that shit out so that we can teach ourselves, you know, through our own practice with our higher self and the divine and spirit and the universe. We can like collectively, co-collectively, like find our place together as the warriors, as the light workers, the starseeds. We were brought here for a reason. We cannot sit in Pityville. We cannot sit and dwell on the past of our third dimensional energy. We must expel it, say goodbye with grace and gratitude, tell it we love it. But we do not have to live in it. Our greatest test is to live among the earth and the humans, but not of it. Does that make sense? I hope I'm saying that correctly. You know, I've been hearing that a lot lately, and it's so true. So, drink some water. Stay hydrated. Be the observer. It's important to be the observer right now. And the animal that wishes to work with us during this energy cycle, however long you need to work with them, they could be an animal totem, is the robin bird. And I asked the robin bird if they had a message that they wanted to convey to all of us at this time. And they want you to take this mantra and work with it, truly work with it. Whether you press on to the tarot cards and you know, or you're done here after this message, whatever you're meant to do. Maybe you're meant to go to the channeling, maybe you're meant to go to my video, maybe you're meant to go look at the Emperor, you know, shorts, the message from the Emperor. Whatever it is, the bird says, please leave with this thought in your heart. And if you're capable to do so, the robin bird urges you to close your eyes right now and take a few deep breaths. And if you haven't had any water, pause this video, go and get some water, take some deep breaths. Maybe you need to release something. We'll wait. We'll be here when you get back. Go ahead and pause that video. We'll be here when you get back. So the robin bird spirit says, keep your eyes closed and really let these words resonate. I am open to receiving all that love has to offer. I am open to receiving all that love has to offer. I am open to receiving all that love has to offer. And maybe through this mantra, through the mindful madness, as you're approaching your energy of leadership and being the observer and the teacher and the light that shows the way for others, may this mantra resonate in your heart. And when you're feeling any shadow or darkness rising within you, and you want to feel love, call it in. I am open to receiving all that love has to offer. And if you have to say it through gritting your teeth, through tears, then through laughter, if you have to go through the stages of death, through that energy, through that past memory, through that past moment, so be it, so do it, so go for it. This is your energy line with Spirit. This is your energy line with Spirit. This is what will help you through the mindful madness. Connecting to the love force. Okay. And for those of you who would like to work with me, one-on-one, through channeling, whatever it is you need, through healing, all of the above. Most of the time whenever I work with people, it's all of the above, you know. Sometimes you're just coming, a lot of you, your fellow light workers, you have your own healing practice. Maybe it's just a connection with spirit, whatever it is. I am here for you. All of my information is on this channel for you to be able to reach out to me. So please do. And I'm going to pause this video myself and take a little break as well, and then we're going to come back and we are going to talk to the Star Spinner Tarot. I have no idea how many groups we are going to have or how many messages, but I will rename the title so that you can see if you would like to stay for this, and it is, where is your faith being tested and what is it teaching you? Okay, and also I just heard, and what do you want to release through that with the full moon energy coming up? But whenever you watch this, it's timeless. But if you are here in real time, it is July 15th, and we are right around the corner for the full moon in Capricorn, the blue moon. Okay, I will see you at reading 1. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other, and all of my information for any connection that you would like to give me, or connect with yourself and spirit through divination with me. All of that information is on this channel, and I will see you over at your reading. Okay. I love you. Bye. Okay, so welcome, reading 1, group 1. Let me know if you guys like this format, by the way, too. If you don't like it, feel free to tell me and tell me why. I don't know if the camera's at a weird angle, because it's my laptop. So anyway, I'm trying something new. Okay, you guys, I'm just gonna tell you right now, I had a really rough start putting this together. My head was hurting. Honestly, y'all need to breathe. Is it this way? This way? Breathe. 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 I actually want to breathe. I want to smell this again. Oh, yes. I was just feeling like this kind of heavy, it's interesting because when I first started thinking about you guys, or was tapping into your energy, the owl came through, and I was like, oh yay. I'm like, oh, these are my wise souls, my blah blah. I'm like, cool. I'm like, nice, and then I'm like easing into it, and I'm setting up your altar, and I'm getting things together, and I'm like, this is so fun. And then all of a sudden I heard Sarah Bareilles, Breathe Again, the song Breathe Again. And then I was like, oh, this is a little bit deeper. I'm like, this isn't just breathe. This is like, I'm like, okay. So in the song, she says something about she just like wants to breathe again, right? And that is what I'm feeling from you guys. So and now I'm hearing a lot of music too. I feel like you guys, if you don't filter your energy through music, I'm getting the vibe that you really should. Not to shit on you, but I'm just getting the vibe that that would be really, really good for you guys to do, to work with music. I call it, I'm really into the Transformers, so I call it the Bumblebee, because Bumblebee loses his capacity to speak anymore. He loses his voice box, but so he uses music to communicate with people. By the way, I'm feeling like this tense energy, all this when I first put this together, this tie is to these pants, and I tucked the shirt. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. I'm like, and I was like, but then I started to get fidgety, and I was even now I'm feeling like I just want to go like this. I just feel like you're fidgety. There's something it's fidgety, Frank. Stop. And I just get this vibe from spirit to just stop. Take a moment and breathe. The other song that came through when I was setting this up was Happier Than Ever from Billie Eilish. And there's this part in the song where she's like, 'cause I'd never treat you this shitty. You make me hate this city. Right? And I'm just getting this vibe that you're in a really low vibrational energy, whether at home, at work, all of the above. But I just feel this very low, toxic, heavy divine masculine, I feel like you're just always the highlight, trying to keep everybody going, trying to, like you're the owl, you're the wisdom, you're the oracle, you're the person everybody comes to. But you know what? You're also not a toilet. And I know that sounds extreme and a bit odd, but it's true, right? Like, you are your own, like, energy, entity, star of the show. We've been saying this a lot lately. But I feel like instead you're like the Cinderella of your story. And Spirit's like, no, you don't have to deal with this, right? Like in that song, Happier Than Ever, what I feel like when I hear that song is I feel like it's somebody who, like, I feel like I understand Billy more than they do. Do you know what I mean? And I hear her in it. Like, I can hear her. I can hear the toxicity of the person, and that all of a sudden she's like, has this moment where she's like, I'm Billie fucking Eilish. Like, fuck you, man. Like, that she doesn't go around the world like that, but that she's also like, I don't have to fucking be in your shitty energy. And like, I fucking love this city, but you're making me hate it. And I don't want to be around you. And I don't want to deal with you. And like, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what I feel like is going on with you guys. Like, I feel like there's a real toxic, fucked up, not cool energy in your orbit. And I feel like we need to, ooh, yikesies. Sorry about that. Yo, jeez Louise. Yeah, look at that. It's almost like it's like the glass on glass. Like it's slipping. Like something's not working. And no matter what you do, is what I'm hearing, is like no matter what you do, it's not going to change. At least right now. Ooh, look at that. The little, right? Because we're mirroring everything. And this person, let me tell you something. I did have something recently that happened with my partner that after it happened, I had a few days to think about it, and I was like, oh shit. Like, that was like they were a huge mirror for me, like massive, massive mirror for me. So it could even be that they are being your mirror right now. But remember, let me bring it up again. Remember what the title of this is. Where's your faith being tested, and what is it teaching you? So if you're deciding to stay in this energy, then you have to ask yourself, like, what do you, sorry, I'm like, I need to untie this because I feel like I keep hitting it, right? Like if you're going to stay in this energy, like, if you're going to do this, then you have to decide, where does your happiness lie? Like, what's the self-care for you? We're knocking out the old energy, if you ever see me doing this. Also, drink some water if you have some. I'm going to drink some too. Okay, also, they drew to my attention that when we stopped, Spirit and I, when the first part of this, when the collective reading ended, when I hit pause, I didn't realize until I looked at it. I was like, holy shit, it was exactly 36 minutes. So that, or at least that's what I saw. That's what I saw. I can't go back and look because I'm in the middle of the recording. But so 36 is significant to you. It could also be the mirror of 63. It could even be that you're 63, but when you were 36, like maybe you had a dream or a vision of yourself, and like Spirit's like saying, do it now. You know what I mean? Like, like there's still time to do it. There's no age limit on anything that you want to do, no matter what they say. There's no age limit, except for obviously if you're like want to join the military and you're 70, they won't take you, right? Because you have to, there's an age limit. But other than that, there's other ways that you can fight for your country instead of going to war. You can go to war in a more beautiful way, right? Like, we don't want to go to war at all, but we do know that there's a spiritual war happening on the planet right now. So maybe this is like, your faith is being tested. And Spirit is like, okay, but what is this war? Maybe it's an inner war. Maybe it's with another person. Like, what is it teaching you? What is this mirror aspect, right? You can see it right here. It's like, you could see me in there. It's like, what is this? When you look in there, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Are you happy with who you are, where you are, like what's going on in your life? Like, do you feel like it's too busy around you? It's too chaotic? When I was setting this up, I was actually trying to make it more basic because I felt like the aesthetic of your energy was like actually very calm, and that it was your natural state was calm, and that your natural aesthetic was like less is more. yet I feel like you're living in this chaotic, like there's so much going on. So it could be like in your household, it could be like in a city or somewhere that you live, it could, all of the above. It could just be the energies. I'm not really sure. Interestingly enough, I was going to shuffle one more time, but this card was on top, so I feel like we need to honor it because it is so profound. Look at that imagery. I don't have my glasses on. I don't have my glasses on, but I believe that is the 8 of... Is it wands? Oh no. It's 8. It's the number death. Ah, right? Okay, so if you haven't seen my last episode on Lula's Life, I'll put a link below so you can go and check it out. But a lot of people, I realize that there's so many of us going through the same thing, and we are all at the end. We are in a massive transformation. Oh my gosh, my throat chakra is so tight right now. I know it's so hard to speak up right now, but you need to. Oh my gosh, it's almost as if I'm like on another frequency. Okay, that's kind of tripping me out. No, seriously, all of a sudden I just heard myself in my head like a radio. And I know I'm a medium and shit, but like that was fucking trippy. And I feel like this wants to like be here. And they don't want you to see the weird word death, which is funny because I just heard muerto, which means death in Spanish. I do remember some school stuff. And I try to be proper and say it the proper way. We're going to dig into this card because I feel like this is so huge. That's why when I call them the group picker readings, because I feel like this is for all of us. There's almost like in some of the picker readings I do, I'll admit, like, it's not everybody's, medicine or message. But then there are some where, oh, by the way, the Chariot was right before that. Ah, interesting. And I also saw like this very like interesting imagery where it looked like he's having sex with the Chariot. It looks like he's in a like a thrust. I don't mean to be so aggressive, but seriously, like that's the energy I felt, and that's the divine masculine energy that's happening right now. It's very, very, very interesting where the divine masculines aren't sure where to put their energy. They're not sure what to do with it. It's so unbalanced because the scales have tipped now, and the divine feminine has rose, and people wonder, they're like, how come, Hillary wasn't the president? How come? I'm like, because everything has to happen for a reason. And we will go through all of that, and I hope this doesn't get flagged because I use that word, because right now there's a lot of things that are happening, but I would think not. I hope not. Anyway, but interestingly enough, look at how their hair is like pulling into, it's almost like they're forgetting, because men wore their hair long for a long time before they were like, oh, that makes you a pansy or a girl, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm just speaking of like the terminology I heard growing up in the 70s and the 80s for my guy friends that wanted to grow their hair long. And my Spartans, my warriors, my Lightworker friends. But I feel like that's what's happening, right? Like they're like, no, I'm just gonna, even with the sword by their side, like there's just this divine masculine. So you could have someone in your orbit or in your energy that's just trying so hard to like, poke the bear, so to speak. So it could be it could be as aggressive as that, because that, like, to me wouldn't seem like, and I've never looked at this way, by the way. I always love this card. I've never even seen it in this imagery before, but I love how Spirit, like, you can look at something 100 times and see it 100 different ways. And there's nothing, like, wrong with them wanting to, thrust, their love, if it's that. But there's also, right, like, we know now, like, as a culture, like, rape has nothing to do with sex. It has to do with power and control. And so I feel like right now you are being controlled by a dominant male energy. My partner and I, that's why I spoke, I haven't gone that personal in a while on any of my things, because they are very private, and so I was trying to respect, I would always say, is it okay if I talk about this? Or I'd tell them about the episode, or sometimes I'd say, do you want to watch it, first? And they're like, no, it's fine, or whatever. But the one that I just did, that's what I'm going through too, is that it's like, on one end, it's like my partner is this beautiful, like, it's almost like, it's like we trade roles a lot. they have more feminine in their chart and I have more masculine in my chart, and it's very interesting because I am a divine feminine represented and he is a male divine masculine represented, and so it's very interesting to me like how that energy works, and I feel like you could also be going through something like that. And I feel like it's also a wake, look at how my fingers almost match perfectly. I feel like it's almost like a wake-up call for all of us to see that like deep down we wouldn't be with these people if they were really like that, right? But it's like it could be something that was ingrained in them that they're trying to release and let go of, and this is the time we're being tested. Are we going to be there and hold space for them and whatever, or are we going to be like, fuck this noise, I'm out of here, because it really depends. If you're getting walked on or mistreated every day, you have to leave, you know what I mean? Because that's where they are. And that's kind of like where I am. Sorry, it's like, do you ever hear something's like sticking to you and you're like, get off me, get off me? But that's kind of where I'm at with my divine masculine in my life. And I don't know if you guys are going through that as well. But I do feel as if there is something that they're trying to show us, and we're being tested now. That's what the test could be too, is that do we want to deal with that, right? Because in death there's rebirth. And I don't know why, but I'm feeling feminine, but I'm feeling a masculine energy from the baby. So it could be that it's like the really harsh part of the divine masculine that has arose on the planet, it has to go, it has to die, so that the beautiful love inside can rise up. All right, so with that being said, that's so interesting the way that came out. Also interesting that the Chariot's on page 29 and I was just 11. So, this could be your divine counterpart, or it could just be someone that you signed on, a soulmate that you signed on to learn lessons, and Spirit's like, okay, how many more years do you need to learn these lessons? Because sometimes I do think that the person is their divine counterpart and it's really difficult. And sometimes I think that it's like, they're like, get the fuck off the ship, man. Like, it's not going to change. Not in this lifetime. Not right now. Sometimes it's not in this lifetime and sometimes it's not right now, but you cannot thrive in that environment, and you've got fucking shit to do. You've got work to do. You're here, you're going through your own transformational process. You don't have time and energy to hold space for someone else, especially if they're not on the same energy field you are. Hold on. Okay. I had to chug some more water. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's almost like all out of nowhere. I was just like super parched. I was just like, you guys, I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I fucking can't. I'm like, get grounded, drink some water. You can do this. I didn't mean to have an aggressive fist, but you know what I mean? Like, but that's the energy that I'm feeling, is like, that's really serious. Am I looking at, it's not number 8. Oh, it's number 13. Holy shit. Were you guys the whole time going, Lula, it's, or here, were you like, it's 13. I saw a V. Isn't that funny? I saw an 8. So maybe that's something for you. I mean, this is 2024 is an 8 year. Also, we've got the 8-8 portal coming up, which is interesting because look at, when I went to 8, I saw the lion. So it could be something that's going on with you guys. You could be a Leo too, or it could be something that's going to happen for you in Leo season. There are no mistakes. I'm a channeler. This is my job. So this is when I tell people, I'm like, I read tarot, but I'm like, I'm not your typical tarot reader. Yeah, I feel like in the imagery too, it's almost like no matter where you are in your divine feminine, whether you are divine feminine represented, or it's just that you're, identify with divine masculine, but you're really needing to pull in the divine feminine. I feel like this is the energy, this kind of maiden, right? Like, she looks young, and also look at, she's holding a lotus flower. Lotus flowers, and they grow out of the mud, right? Out of the darkness. And look at how the lion's looking ahead. She's looking down at the flower, and he's like, but look ahead. And see how she's in shadow? It could even be that this person that you're with is like a lion or a Leo or somebody who they just keep overshadowing you with their darkness or whatever. I mean, that's one of the things I'm going through with mine, is like, he is the most joyful, beautiful. I literally call him sunshine because he's my sunshine. But when he's in shadow, he's just so like, it's like he grunts. I could barely get words out of him. It's like the energy is just like, and I'm like, I'm like, la 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 la, like I'm like playing with fucking butterflies outside, you know what I mean? And then it's just like I can't breathe. And I told him, I was like, I can't be around you right now. I'm like, I don't know if this is temporary, I don't know if this is permanent. I'm like, but I'm like, I can't fucking breathe. I can't breathe. I can't live if living is without you. I can't live. I like, that's the song I'm hearing in my head. I can't live. I can't give anymore. Right? Yeah. So if you can't give anymore, and it's like, but we need you in your light. You know, like we need you in your presence of your job. And if you're in a third dimensional job, then then you put yourself there. You have to find a way to keep your light there. And if not, then you need to leave. And you know, it's like, it's different for all of you, so I can't tell you what to do. I'm gonna read this. I'm like, this is so intense. And here's the thing. You guys are, you gals, you peoples, you beauties. I'm just gonna call you beauties. You beauties. You know, you signed on for this. You're a light worker. You're a starseed. If you found yourself to my channel, like, that's who you are. That's what you do. This isn't your first time here. Or your second. I don't know if it's your last or not. But you have the owl as your representation. That's fucking wisdom, man. And look at Isis is wanting to poke through on my shirt, right? So work with Isis energy too. The love, the divine love energy. Because this is your message. Like, this is your message right here. Your faith is being tested with this energy. And it's like, how are you going to deal with it? What are you going to do? Okay. So it says, the death card portends change. Nyx holds her child, Thanatos, gently beckoning souls into the next life. Ooh, fuck. If you were searching your divine purpose, did you see all the, I don't know, see, sometimes I get these weird things with my camera, but then I watch it back, it didn't, but for me, it like glitched for a second and went in slow motion. It was really cool. But that is your, I feel like, because that was your, I feel like spirit just turned your switch on, right? Like, that is your fucking story. That is your story. That is your story. You're gently beckoning souls into the next life. And that life is their awakening. Okay, we're going to get to that. There's so much more on that. Though it may initially read as a bad omen, death simply refers to cycles of change in a broader sense. When an era comes to a close, a new one springs up at its heels. The figure of death, in this case, signifies satisfactory closure and completion. So you are absolutely positively at the end of something. You're at the end of a cycle. You're at the end of something. It's going to be different for each of you. And this is your awakening. This is your wake-up call. This is spirit saying, like, your faith, it's not just your faith, but it's like, you were brought here to change the world. It's going to be different for all of you. But you just putting all of your energy, one of the things I said to my partner, and I don't know if this will resonate with you, but I said, I don't have the bandwidth to just put all of my energy into our family, you, me. Like, I'm like, this is part of my job. This is my life purpose. It's not all of it, but it's definitely a big part of it during this process. And I was like, I don't have the energy or the bandwidth while the planet is transitioning right now. All these things are happening, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Like, as it's all happening for us, not, you know, to us, it's happening for us. As it's all shifting and going through it, we're having ugly moments and ugly cycles where it's like, and we're like falling, and we're like, and it feels like you're in a fucking, you know, washing machine, and then you're in the dryer, and you're just like, and you're spinning around. Or you're hanging on the line outside with wind whipping through you, right? It's like, I'm having all these clothes analogies. How funny. Right? But it's like, because we're changing, we're shifting. I literally just went out and bought new clothes because I was just like, I feel like I'm shifting. And it was interesting that I didn't realize until all my clothes were hanging on the line that there was this underlying theme of pinks and blues and pinks and blues. And then I watched this reading that I was drawn to, and the whole thing resonated. It felt so personal. And he's like, I feel like you need to wear a lot of blue right now. And I was like, it's like, you know, because my higher self knew that, you know, it's like I needed to change up my wardrobe, change my color, change, and everything's like more light and airy, linen. Like I wanted things like loose and flowy, you know. I just have been feeling this flow energy. And I feel like that is what you need too. Maybe you need the same, you know. I decided, I'm like, I'm going to invest. I gave myself an amount and I said, I'm going to invest this much money in myself and see, like, you know, because I can feel that I'm changing. I can feel the transformation. And if you're feeling it too, allow yourself to go through that. So it's going to be different for all of you. Okay, so I like to read the reverse because even though it was upright, I do feel that the reverse always has a lesson and a teaching in there as well. And since the title is Where is Our Faith Being Tested and What is it Teaching Us? Let's see what the reverse says. It says, Death in reverse warns of ghosts. You may lack proper closure and be unable to let go of the past. By dwelling on life as it was, you cannot proceed and you forget to live. Ugh. So perfect. It's so perfect. I feel like this is my reading too because I just had such a huge breakthrough moment. This whole thing, whenever I have breakthrough moments of my personal life, I'm like, I know that there's some pearls in there for me as well. So, you know, I know for myself that the same arguments and fights that have been going through with my current partner are the same things that I've gone through with other partners. And it's just interesting. And the common denominator is me. And the hardest part is that when I was like, we need a break, like we both need a break, you know, I apologized for my part in it. And I said, you know, there's this part of me, there's this side of me, this old, I'm really feeling the lapis lately, which lapis, work with lapis, the fact that it's being called lapis lazuli, work with lapis, okay? There's so much beauty and guidance in it, in the lapis. But with that being said, I saw such ugliness in myself when we were arguing. I saw such old patterns of myself and my family, and it was old ghosts. It was ancestral. And I feel like that's what they're trying to show all of us. Like, we don't have to be our past. We have the power to change our present so that we could align to our future and our destiny, because it really is about the journey. And so now, you know, these pearls of wisdom are here for you to align to yours. I think it's interesting that we talked about 13. Also, 3 and 1 is 4. And it's about stability and foundation. And I feel like none of us can move forward. The reason why we're getting pissed off or irritated or whatever we are with our partners, our job, our friends, it's because we're realizing like we literally cannot stay there anymore. Like we have to move forward. It's not a choice. It's just like, I mean, it is a choice, but that's the choice, right? That's the choice that we're making, that we're like, no, I'm done. You know, like I'm done. I felt like that wanted to come off. I don't know why. Because it's like, I feel like it's time to start taking things off that don't feel right, that don't feel, you know, they belong to you. You know, it's like, this bracelet was a gift and I love it so much and I wear it all the time. And lately I've been feeling like it's not mine, which means I'm meant to gift it. I'm meant to like, so I'll probably be wearing it and like, I'll end up giving it to somebody. But that's part of it, right? It's the part of, you know, getting the gift, using the gift and pushing the gift on to somebody else so that they can use it as well. And I feel like this is the year for us to get back to like our real, like, you know, divine teachings and working with our inner core, you know, self, like finding out like who we really are, sitting more in silence and alone. I urge you, group 1, reading 1, I urge you with all that I am to, you know, start taking things off. It's funny because I didn't have rings in the other reading, and I was like, I miss my rings, and I don't know if I'm gonna give them or not, or gift them, but I just got this vibe to like take them because I feel like it's time to unload. You know, he ain't heavy, he's my brother, but maybe they are heavy. Maybe those people are heavy. You know, every time I hear that song, I cry because I miss my brother so much. But it's like I had a window into the soul of my family and my friends. And you know, it's like we make the choices. We can choose to be happy, or we can choose to be miserable. We can choose to create a narrative about another person that doesn't even exist. It's like, what narrative are you creating for yourself that doesn't even exist? Are you creating a narrative for yourself that doesn't exist? Are you still stuck in a narrative of a version of who you used to be? I'm seeing the number 39 again. So there's something with that. So in 39 and 93, there's this energy. Ooh, that's really, yes, I just got the chills, which is also the number 3. 369, if you're seeing like these numbers, or like, you know, this is definitely your message. But Spirit's like, you know, it's time to breathe the air again. You deserve to breathe the air again. There's no, it's like, it's a choice, right? It's a choice. Everything we do is a choice. And nothing lasts forever. Even this moment, right? It's already gone. What I just said, it's already gone. Bye. I can keep talking and then it'll keep going down. You know what I mean? Ooh, it'll keep going. But nothing lasts forever because it's not supposed to. We're not supposed to last forever. Okay. But if something has a life and you wanna grow, you feel like, you know, if there's potential there, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch a movie called the Jane Austen Book Club. It's free on YouTube right now. If they call me to, I'll put it there. I had not seen it in a really long time, and I had forgotten the ending. And then there's this one surprise part of the ending that I was like, oh, dude, that's awesome. Like, it made me so happy. And it made me realize that people can change and do change when they really want to change. And sometimes it takes losing somebody for someone to change. I mean, you know, my husband and I have broken up and gotten back together more times than I can physically count. And sometimes I'm like, this is really it. And this time it really could be it. I don't know. But it's also like, are we here to help the divine masculine and guide them with love in our hearts? Or, oh, look at that. Or are we going to be stuck in an energy? Oh, look at that. Look at, then the death card fell, right? Because, or if we're stuck in the energy of this, on guard and fighting constantly. Look at that, number 11. And is that taking us away from our transformation and our rebirth? Wow, I just had a serious epiphany. So I don't know if we're going to pull any more cards. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Because you're the high priestess, baby. And again, it doesn't matter if you're divine masculine or divine feminine. But look at this. See how they're looking down? It could even be that this person, whomever this is, they are that energy, but they're just not there yet. They're not in the rebirth stage. You're over here, they're over there, and never the twain shall meet, right? Because if you're in one dimension and somebody's in another dimension, you can't. Did you ever see, what was that movie? It was like, I think it was Superman or something, and they were stuck, and there was like a thing of glass between them, and they couldn't hear each other, but they could see each other, but they couldn't hear each other. I kind of feel like that's where this relationship is. I feel like this is going to a very one-on-one relationship. It could be love. It could be more than that. But there's definitely an energy or an entity that is like keeping you guys at bay. So I'm going to pull this forward because this was behind it. Oh, interesting. Look at that. I can't see it. What is it? Oh, the 10 of coins. But look at how happy that person is with the dog. The dog's all happy. That's interesting. Interesting how the divine masculine is in the middle. I kind of felt like this was a divine masculine, but I guess it could represent either, right? Because you could be the divine masculine and it's your divine feminine that's not waking up, you know? Because I know we have a lot of that in our tribe as well. That energy force of a relationship. So there's a lot going on. Wow. But interestingly enough, this is, so if this is my reading as well, I take this as, I feel like that they will be happier if they're alone. And maybe they just need to get a dog. Maybe, as sad as this fucking sounds, you guys, maybe it's like that we have to back off and let them just get a dog. Maybe we've only taken them as far as they're meant to go, and they need a dog or a cat or a ferret or a fucking gecko. I don't know, but maybe they need a familiar to connect with. The reason why I said that is that in my relationship, I have my familiar that she's become our animal together. But let's be real. If this is the end for my partner and I, she's coming with me and he'll be alone. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe they do need some time alone, and instead of like feeling like that, it could be a plant. I'm serious. It could be as simple as like just something else to take care of besides themselves. Because I think that's what the challenge is right now, is the divine masculine is being challenged and the divine feminine is being challenged, but we're being challenged in different ways. And I feel like for the divine masculine, they feel like right now, which is why they're looking down, and they're looking down too. It's almost as if like nobody's looking up. But look, the baby's looking up and the dog's looking up. And if you think about it, who are the two energies that are like the best, right? Like a happy fucking dog and a happy baby. Is there anything better? I mean, seriously. So it's kind of like they're trying to get all of us to tune. Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to crack my knuckle there. They're trying to get all of us to link in and tune into that energy with nature, with animals, with, and maybe the solitude is where we'll find that inner strength and stability in ourselves, to be the leaders and the healers that we were meant to be. Maybe this Cancer energy, this moon, we're meant to release. It's the moon is in Cancer, and we're in Cancer energy, which is moon represented, and then we're bookended in this blue moon of Capricorn energy of the full moon. So that's really powerful, that grounding energy. So there's like somewhere in there is like where we're gonna find, I believe, we'll find our happiness and our source of inner conflict. I'm not sure if Spirit wants me to do we want to read from the book for any of these cards as well before we head out? Any of them? No, I kind of feel like that too. I kind of feel like I think the only thing else I would want to say, I'm going to grab some water if you guys want, drink some water. I'm not going to pause it this time. I feel as if because I feel like this divine feminine representative is looking this way and the divine masculine is looking this way. And the divine feminine is looking towards the future of creation, right? Birth, children, but creation in general, creativity, blah, blah, blah. Where the divine masculine is like obsessed with money, right? Like, I got to be the breadwinner. I got to make the money. And right now, and this is old programming, right? Because the divine masculine is crumbling. They're like, but I don't know what to do if I'm not blah blah blah. I don't know what to do, And their mind is, money on my mind. What's that song? Money is something and money on my mind, right? And even the dog's trying to get his attention and be like, take me for a walk. Can we go for a walk? Stop thinking about money. And maybe it's all of our divine masculine. This has been. The last few years has been the least amount of money I've ever made, ever. I have made more money in a year with a paper route than I have made in the last year. And I remember when I couldn't take bookings. Like, I was so overbooked. Now it's like tumbleweeds. But, now I'm kind of reopening myself to people. So if you'd like any one-on-one work, please reach out to me. If you have my information, reach out. If not, all of my information is on this channel. But there's definitely been something going on there, and I feel like it was my divine masculine needed to work out a lot of stuff, a lot of shadow. But Alder, my husband, like, he's been like working, and all that's been on his mind is money. Yet he's got all of these sources around him to make the money, and it's like, even when we have money, we're fighting about making more money because we want a house. And we're so focused on this. But because we've been so focused on that, we're not letting the love in. We're not thinking about creation and the birth of like what could be. We're stuck in the past of who we used to be. And forgetting that we have this Empress energy inside of us. So I feel like all of us, there's something very serious and very, very, very real about what's happening right now. And that this is true too, right? Like, how can we live if we can't breathe? But we're in this, I can't live if living is without you. But like, maybe we have to live without people for a while so that we can reground and reassess our relationships. You know, it's like sometimes it's for the long haul, and that's wonderful. And sometimes it's just for, you know, whatever time it is. So I'm hearing be open and willing to release and let go. Oh, interesting. At the bottom of the deck is the Six of Cups. And look at that energy. And the stars. I just noticed the stars on all the corners. Look at how more floaty and beautiful and ethereal that is. And this one, I want to keep this one up here because I feel like this is like, oh gosh, what's that song? There's a possibility. She's really haunting. It's from the Twilight soundtrack. Oh, if I think about it, I'll put it down here. But it's like, I feel like this is like what we've been living in, right? Like, there's a possibility, and hanging on and hanging on and hanging on. I saw something recently where the guy said, he's like, why do people, he's like, he goes, think about it. He goes, why do we hang on to somebody and say, oh, I've been with you this many years, so you must be the one. Like, let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep going. He's like, sometimes, he's like, or we're married or, you know, whatever, like, we really should, you know, work through this. And he's like, yeah, but sometimes you really shouldn't. Maybe you got married for the wrong reasons, or, you know, maybe the relationship only lasted as long as it did. It's like, it doesn't make you a failure because you didn't make it. It doesn't make you a failure because you were with someone for so many years, but then you never, you know, got what you wanted. You know, it just means that it just never happened, you know, for whatever reason. There isn't an actual, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of it is just, it's delusion and illusion that we have built up. And sometimes it's that we want the other person to be what they told us they were, or something that they want to be, you know, or maybe they never were and we built it up. So this says, you are confronted with a moment of nostalgia. Oh, here we go. You are confronted with a moment of nostalgia. Memories of past joys strengthen your resolve and warm your heart. Old connections may be renewed and forgotten fondness rekindled. You remember the moments before your ambitions made it difficult to appreciate what you have. Wow. And the reverse says, memories of the past yield sorrow. Long buried regrets suddenly resurface to haunt you. You obsess and cling to the past, unable to live in the present moment. You must make peace with your relationship with your past. There is no recapturing the playfulness of youth, but you might still find ways to access the sense of joy. And it's on page 83, which is also the number 11. That's really interesting. So I feel like because the other card is this, I'm going to leave it there. Oh my gosh, you guys. I hope this helped you in any way. I mean, it helped me a lot. I definitely like had a lot of breakthrough and aha moments. And interesting, they told me to put the card there. So I don't know if it's because they want us to, you know, I think that it's like, yeah, you can bicker and, you know, blah, 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 or maybe take some time alone. Or when it's getting heated, maybe take some time alone. But maybe, you know, it's really gonna, it's so different. I'm honestly, if I'm being fair with you guys, I feel about 4 to 6 outcomes right now. And that's why I don't think it's fair, because I don't want you to cling to an outcome that may or may not happen. We are all in our own little kind of, I don't want to say personal hell, but it really is. It's the hell of our own making, which sometimes is so fucking hard to hear. But it is. We are each individually in the hell of our own making if we live in that. If we are in joy, then we're in the joy of our own making. And if someone is constantly squishing that joy, then we have to remove ourselves from that situation and from that person and that place and that thing, because we are here to experience joy. And right now, as Starseeds and Lightworkers, we are here to elevate the vibration. So the longer you stay in that low vibration, the more it's like you're actually not doing your purpose, and you're just going to stay in that, like, I don't know how to say this. Like, karma is, I'm like, I don't know how to say this without like, I'm like, karma is different for, karma is the same for everybody, but we each have our own karma. Does that make sense? And so I cannot tell you what to do you know what I mean? Because this is whatever you decide to do, and whether it has to do with karma or not, it doesn't matter. You know, it's like, it's, how do you want me to say this, Spirit? They're saying, wow, this is really aggressive, but they're saying karma can feel like statutory rape. As aggressive and as that sounds, it can feel that way. But so can the karma that we imprinted on someone else when we weren't stable and we weren't grounded. And so right now it's like you're a base frequency as a light worker and a starseed. Like, you're a base frequency for what's happening right now. So if your radio's not turned on, they can't come in. And if you're not receiving the messages, then you cannot do your purpose. I haven't felt more alive than I have in the last few days, that I've really had time to just work on myself. Look at that. So it's like, which one do you want? You want this or this? It's a choice. And if this isn't happening, and this is a daily occurrence, or even every few days or weekly, and it's fucking with your chi and your happiness and your joy and your everyday love for yourself and the universe, it's gotta go. It's gotta go. Until you find your joy, it's gotta go. And this may just be you with your beautifully balanced divine feminine and masculine. You do not need anyone. When the time is right, the love will come back. When the time is right, the job will come back. When the time is right, that family member or friend will come back, if they're meant to. If not, I mean, I have moments, of course, you think I hear a date and I'm like, oh, you know, it's my ex's birthday, or, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't, our brains just don't go, we don't just completely erase everything. But you can just be like, oh, happy birthday in your head, send them love. Or just don't think of it at all. Just move on from that thought from that person and just let go. Don't recognize that date anymore as that, until the point you won't remember it anymore and you won't think about it anymore. And it's not a dark thing or whatever, it's just where you are. But it's time to breathe again. Are there any more last messages, Spirit? All right, that's what I thought. All right, you guys, until next time, I love you so much. Take good care of yourselves and each other. And as I said, all of my information is all over this channel. So if you'd like to reach out, or if you'd like to give some love for this beautiful transmission, feel free to do so. I'll see you next time. I love you. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 2, group 2. I was feeling this kind of fairy energy. I almost changed my shirt to put on a unicorn to be cute, but I feel like that's fine. Also, I was called to use this fennel oil on my knees. So I feel like for some of you, maybe you don't know this, but fennel oil is actually really good for like back pain or like knee pain, or just research it. It's really good. Fennel is smells like licorice. But there's also, fennel is like a vegetable. So like maybe you need to eat fennel. Maybe you need fennel in your diet. I don't know. I just was really called. I was just using it on myself. And then I was like called to bring it in. So that message is for somebody. I don't know who, but there's the message. Okay. Also, I was feeling the fairy, but also Taylor Swift is Henry VIII-ing me, my birthday sister. She keeps singing over and over and over. Don't say I didn't warn you, or something. Boys only want love if it's torture. Don't say I didn't warn you. So there's something going on. I don't know who this message is for or what's happening, but there's definitely something's going on. Isis is wanting to show her face again too. So there's and labradorite. I have labradorite here, and labradorite really wanted to be over here. So research Isis, work with Isis. I feel like she's our goddess to work with, at least over Cancer season. I've been feeling her more than ever. I think just as the divine feminine is on the rise, she's just really, really been present. So Interesting though, when I first opened the portal to your reading, the first song I heard was Sunday, Monday, happy days, Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days, Thursday, Friday, happy days, Saturday, what a day, I'm grooving all week with you, or whatever. But it's like the whole song is just about like being happy, and it's like happy days, and and so I am feeling that energy from you guys. So let's see what the tarot has to say, because it went from happy days to, don't say I didn't warn you, boys are torture. So what I'm getting from that in reading group one, we spoke a lot of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and how the more the divine feminine is rising, the more the divine masculine, patriarchal, old, outdated, very destructive energy is dying, and how they're just like doing everything to hang on to life. And so if you were drawn to that reading, you may want to go check that out. But I think it's interesting that when I was talking about you guys, or opening the portal to speak, with your spirit guides and everything, it's interesting that that was kind of coming through as well, kind of the same title, or same energy, the divine masculine. But in this case, in this reading, I think what she's trying to say in the song, or what Spirit is trying to convey through her message, is that boys only want love if it's torture. So the divine masculine energy has never been allowed to feel love, to be loved, to understand love. I know in my relationship, we've been having this thing with our parents, right? So like we're all kind of reenacting our parents. Now, it's like that old saying, I know this is going to sound really graphic, but they're like, you don't want to fuck your parents, right? Like, so they're like, oh, you're with him because you have, daddy issues, or you're with her because you have mommy issues, that kind of thing. And so I feel like we've just been told and fed a lot of gossip, bullshit, things that actually aren't healthy or good for us on a whole. And so we ourselves are re-understanding divine masculine, divine feminine, where they play a part, how they play a part, and working through those energies. And so I feel like that's what they're trying to say about that, is that, the divine masculine, yes, they want to have love, but it's got to be in some, tortured way. So let's find out, because I want to read it specifically. I know you probably just came here, but this is already I've been doing spirit work for like 3 hours straight or something. So I'm like, what? Where am I? Anyway, so the title is, Where is Your Faith Being Tested, and What is it Teaching You? So it could be for you that you are being tested to bring out the divine feminine more in yourself, so that you may also hold space for others to bring it out of themselves, so that they can feel safe and comfortable. Okay, is this our card? This is our card. Is this our card? Oh, this is our card. This is really cool. I've been having these shuffling things with the other one too, where it's like I go to shuffle and it's like the bottom one. So here is your message. Look at that. Look at that star. Beautiful. Number 1. It's the Ace of Coins. The Ace of Coins. And I love this deck. I fell so deeply in love with this deck that I was like, I have to have it. It was one of those that I was like, I was going through a phase where I'm like, I don't need so many decks. Who needs so many decks? And then all of a sudden I was like, no, this is one I have to have. And it's been never ever been a regret. Let me find the book. Also, please drink water. I cannot stress enough to keep yourself hydrated. Especially as light workers and starseeds, we need to keep our bodies and our minds and our souls as healthy as possible. I'm going through a purge of my own right now, of releasing like old stuff. And I have noticed that water has been integral in my healing process. So please stay hydrated. Keep water on you. If you're not somebody who normally carries water, I urge you to start doing that. And make sure that it's healthy water. Okay, let's see. Ace of Coins. I feel like something just fell on my face. That was so weird. I wish you guys could have just experienced what I experienced. So I feel like that could be a message from your higher self. So let's see if anything comes through. Does anybody want to channel anything right now to this group? Oh, for some of you, if you were drawn to reading 1, go read reading 1. We talked about the divine masculine and them having the, I got the money on my mind and got my mind on the money and the money on the mind. So if that's something that you're struggling with, or, you know, you may want to go over there and check that out. Okay, so it says the Ace of Coins is a lucky card. You may have a lead on a new opportunity to expand your source of income. It turns out that you could do more and that your contributions are more valuable than you realize. Though you will need to work hard to see these new avenues through, it is heartening to realize that there are still opportunities out there for you. Oh, so this is the faith, okay? So the question was, let's say it again. I don't know why I can't, like, what's going on with me today with it, but maybe because they just want me to keep repeating it, you know, like, so that you'll keep it on your mind. Hold on. Sorry about that. Where is your faith being tested? I live by the highway, sorry for that, but it's summer, I need to have my door open. Also, speaking of faith being tested, so where we live, I'm an empath, right? So certain scents, smells like make me super, super sick. And I love this area. We were like falling in love with it. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna live here. I think I'm meant to live here. And then this stench came in and I'm like, what in God's name is that? And he's like, oh yeah, it's the pulp mill. And I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, he's like, the good news is he's like, you can only smell it when like the clouds come in and then like they hold the, like the smoke can't go out into the air. I'm like, well, number one, I don't want to live by that. So that's gross. I've lived by that before. I'm like, no. And number two, I was like, okay, wait a second. I'm like, this is the Pacific Northwest. So like 6 months out of the year, it's going to be like that pretty much. I'm like, I can't stand that smell. He's like, well, when we're in a house, you won't smell it. I'm like, oh, you'll smell it. If you go outside, you'll smell it. And so very interesting, you know. So I don't know why, but I felt like I was meant to share that with you guys. So that's where my faith is being tested. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm in the right place because I don't feel like Spirit would put me somewhere that like a big chunk out of the year, it's like stinky smelly. You know what I mean? But what is it teaching me? What is it teaching me? I guess I'll find out. I mean, I can kind of tell now, like tolerance, patience, and like all the basics, you know, but I also feel like someday I'll look back on this experience and like see how the whole experience in-depthly taught me. You know what I mean? So I always like to read the reverse as well because I feel like the reverse gives us like the hidden meaning, especially like in something like this where it's like, where's your faith being tested? Well, it's like your faith is being tested in new beginnings and your faith in yourself and in Spirit, that this lucky charm, this lucky coin, you know, it's like that person who, it's like if you go to the casino with your last $50, let's say, and because you believe in everything that there is, that Spirit's like, I'm going to help you out, man. You know, turnabout is fair play. Let's go to a casino. You bet on Black 13 with this $50 and I will turn it around and give you, you know what I mean? Like whatever the thing would be, the pot that you'd win, you know, to help you get to where you need to be. Do you have faith that that would happen? And that's the kind of thing is they want you to, you know, that luck is on your side. The energy on the planet right now is on your side. It's Year of the Dragon. They bring good fortune and luck. I mean, it's like, besides Year of the Pig, it's like one of the best ones you can basically be in. As what they say, the cat's pajamas, the tits, as they say. This energy, and it only comes around, you know, every 13 years, I think, because they have 13 animals, like the 13 moons, I believe, because it's the lunar cycle. But if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But yeah, so there's something really profound, you know, going on with your luck right now. But it's just like right before I started this reading, the whole thing today, Freddie Mercury came through and he was like, time waits for nobody, right? He's like, time waits for nobody, right? You got to pull your shit together or you'll have no more future at all. Like he's like, we got to pull our things together. But I feel like for you guys, like this is it. Like if this is the time you've ever wanted to do X, Y, and Z, you want to open that ceramic shop, you love making ceramics, do it. Have faith in yourself. You know, maybe start small with an Etsy shop from your house and then build up to a brick and mortar if that's what you want to do. You know, I mean, I know like when I go to festivals, I love looking at pottery. I love buying a new piece of pottery for my home that's a unique piece, right? Or a mug or a bowl or something like that. It's about being unique. We've just been in this like pressed like factory society, but we're pulling out of that. You know, we're seeing like what that took, like children and humans being treated horribly, animals being tested on, you know, like we're like, what the fuck? You know, I said something recently, an analogy to somebody, and I said, if someone gave you the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen in your life, and we're like, that diamond is so precious and rare, it's worth $5 million. I'm like, would you sell it and get the money for it, or would you keep it, you know? And they're like, I'd sell it and get the money for it. I'm like, okay, so then you could do whatever you want, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, so what if you found out though that children were murdered and killed in a mine to get that diamond for you? That's why they call them blood diamonds. I'm like, would you still want that diamond and that money? And they're like, no. I'm like, that's the way we have to look at the world. Humans, animals, we're not just expendable. We all have a purpose. You know, even in the teachings, it's been horrific, right? You know, but we all have a purpose, and you have a purpose, and I have a purpose. And I feel like this is you. It's almost like you're the beacon of light. And all you need to do is walk through that gate. You just have to walk through. You know, it's like, what world do you want to look at? It's almost like there's different dimensions going on too. It's like they really want you to like see this imagery. You can't stay in your nice little garden in your safety zone. You know, you have to have faith in yourself, and you have to have faith in spirit. If you love it and it like makes your heart sing, then that's what you're supposed to do. When I'm not doing readings, I'm working on music or playing with acting or coloring or playing with animals or crystals or, you know, whatever. I built the cutest little garden out here. I'm calling it my four corners because it's earth, air, fire, and water. It's like a representation. I'll take a picture of it and put it in the community section. But it's just all the things that I've collected on, and there's more stuff that I need to go through. But it was like all of a sudden it was just, I just loved it. I'm like, man, this is really neat. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but it's for me right now. It's kind of like a Zen garden or something. So maybe that's what you guys need to like, you know, figure out or find your purpose. Or I feel like a lot of you do know. It's just, you know, you're running from it. So, okay, they want us to take a sip of water. Take a sip of water. I took more than a sip. So drink as much as you need. So the reverse meaning says, you are faced with a sudden financial setback of some inconvenience. Though it will not upend your livelihood, it still makes life a little more difficult than it needs to be. Perhaps you counted your chickens before they hatched. You may be feeling a little risk averse, reluctant to pursue new opportunities. Also, I think it's interesting that it's a 1 and then it's on page 110, which is also 1s and 11, you know. So it's like, you know, what angel, you know, like I feel like some of you, you're true angels. Like you have a major purpose here. And you need to have faith in it. And what's next to it? The 2 of coins, but it looks like an 11, doesn't it? And look at their hands are in the air. Trying to balance. That's the issue right now on the planet. That's what's the biggest struggle, is people trying to balance their spirituality with the old world. It's because it's the letting go. We're in the letting go process. Why do you think we're in the water and the emotional right now when I'm doing this reading? It's July 15th, between, you know, these bookend blue moons of Capricorn, and You know what I mean? And the Cancer moon, the Cancer energy, Cancer's ruled by the moon. Like, this is all about release and letting go of the past, so that when we get to Leo energy, the fire, we're going to burn through that, and we're not going to look at things the same way. I have a feeling, I think a lot of things are going to change for you guys. Can we get another? I feel like there's another message in here, Spirit. Is it the one at the bottom? Because I saw this one too. Yes. Oh my gosh. Look at the Dancer upside down. Oh, I love this card. But look at how she's upside down. But it's also, it kind of reminds me of the Fool. Or the Hanged Man. Excuse me, the Hanged Man. But I could see the Fool in that too. But it kind of reminds me of the Hanged Man. But if you look at it from that point of view, if you don't look at it as the tarot that it is, but oh boy, speak your truth. My gosh, my throat. I'm like, I feel like I'm being choked. Do you see that foot there? She's trying to let go, but you have to have faith. You're hanging on. Like, it's like you're halfway into your new world. You're kind of there. You know what I mean? But you're not all the way there. You're still hanging on. And Spirit's like, let go. Have you ever seen The Lost Boys? If you want to watch something really fun, watch The Lost Boys. It's a little dark and twisted, but there's a lot of great metaphors and lessons in that. If you like vampires, you'll love it. It's an old movie from the 80s. There's so many great actors in it. It's a really, really, really powerful movie. But there's this one scene where the guy's transitioning into a vampire, and he's like, and the other vampires are like, let go. And he's like, no. And they're like, let go. You have to trust that you can fly. And he's like, no. He's like, let go. And they're like hanging from this bridge, and he's like terrified because he's still in the old energy of being human. But they're like, you're not a human anymore. You're a fucking vampire, dude. So they're like, let go. Like, be who you are. So interesting. If we put it in the upright position, look at that. Now she's like, she's not hanging on. She's dancing free. She's dancing for, oh my gosh, I feel like it's like drawn to this, like some of you are like, I want to see it closer. Look at how much is going on there. I don't know if this camera is going to pull it in. But interesting, it is the 9 of chalices, which is the 9 of cups. So I feel like this wants to push in or push out. I'm like, go in or go out. I'm like, make up your mind. Ooh, I feel like that was a message to you guys. Go in or go out. Make up your mind. Oh, holy shit. Oh, I love that. And look at the mirror, like the mirror image of yourself. Oh, wow. This is getting heavy. This is getting real, man. This is why, I said before, I'm like, I read tarot, but I wouldn't call myself a tarot reader, because I'm more of a channel that works with like these fun, things, but these tools. But that is really, really powerful. Look at how the Dancer is going towards the money, because when they're in flow and they're having faith, you know what I mean? Like, this is what it's teaching you. The teaching is that if you have faith, like, it's all, you're going to have a brand new beginning. If you have faith in yourself and you have faith in your journey. But this Cancer energy, it's making us, we doubt everything. We're second guessing everything. That's probably, how every energy and every astrological energy has a light and a shadow, a positive and a negative. Sorry, I'm like, these pants are flowy and they're awesome, but I'm like sitting on them and I'm like, I can't move. That's what it is. It's like, it's ironic because Cancer is a water energy, so it feels like it should be flow, but it's also represented by the crab. And what does the crab do? Even though it lives in the water, it retreats inside to its shell. It goes out, it gets what it needs, it forages, and then retreats. It likes to, when it's feeling fear or, uncertain, they retreat back into their shell. So it makes sense that people are retreating back into that third dimensional. All of us are going into that right now while we're trying to figure that out. Oh man, this shit's getting heavy. It's getting heavy, but but that's the beauty of it, because in the heaviness is where we learn the life lessons, right? When we release and let go of the outcome, that's when everything finally comes to be. So whenever it comes to me, and the position first is the one that I read, and then read the other one. So since this came in reverse, we'll start there. Nothing has turned out the way you hoped. Your dreams seem further out of reach than ever before. Your sacrifices yield little satisfaction, and you must reassess your ideals and their impact on your emotional and practical well-being. Also, it's on page 86, if that means anything to anybody. And the mirror of that is 68. Also, this looks like a devil to me. Isn't that weird? Do you guys see that? I saw like a devil face, like an eye. I didn't see, very, very, very interesting. It's not the devil card, but that's interesting. Very, very interesting. So if you're familiar with tarot, maybe the devil card means something to you. Maybe that's a wink, wink from spirit. Also, 86 is 14. And that could be also 14 or mirrored 41. So it could be an age. It could be, an age that you were at, an age that you're at now. There could be something there, that mirror, that's very beautiful. But also 4 and 1 is 5, and 5s are about change and transformation. So, and if you were called to reading 1, go and check it out. Okay. So, in the upright position, it says you are at a place where you can be proud of your achievements. You are finally happy for yourself and for others, and your goals are nearing completion. Your losses feel like necessary sacrifices. Even through pain and adversity, you dance. Though your best laid plans may not have materialized exactly as you had hoped, you find satisfaction in exercising your agency in the endeavor. So I'm getting the vibe that also this urgency. Like just now I was like, oh my gosh, I need to finish this reading. I need to go. And so I'm feeling like, see how she's dancing? Like when you're in point dancing like that in ballet, you have to be laser focused. Your core has to be strong and tight. You are balancing on your toe. The slipper is merely there to hold the energy. Have you ever seen ballerinas' feet? They may be the most beautiful, most gorgeous creatures you've ever seen, especially when they're dancing. But if they take their shoes off, their toes, I literally can't. Broken toenails off, bloody, no. Right? But that is sacrifice, man. That is like, because you want to float, you want to feel that energy, and that's, hey, it's not for everybody. And I'm not saying, whatever, but there is something about being in the flow of the energy of sacrifice. If you really want something, you have to work hard for it. I have spent literally a decade of my life working on my spirit work, working on this job. A decade of my life. And technically my whole life. So 5 decades. And then some. Right? But I keep changing. And as I change and I grow and I evolve, so do my wants and my dreams. I was chastised my whole life from all different people because I couldn't choose, or I would stick with something, I'd do something for a while and I'd get really good at it and then I'd quit and go to something else. And they're like, what is wrong with you? Why, you have no attention span. Why can't you just, and I'm like, I did it. I mastered it. I loved it. And now I'm done. Or at least I mastered it to the point that I felt like I was done. I had mastered it to the point that it was enough for me. And it's the same for you. It's like, you may have old dreams that you've never fulfilled that they're like calling at you right now. Or it could be that it's like, something that you used to want. If it's not working out, it's because what is it that you really want now? Or what are you interested in now? It's like we're still in this, even with the spiritual world, we're put into this like, oh, well, you could be, I've had people so many times are like, it's hard watching you. You could have built a website, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't have to live in poverty. I'm like, I don't live in poverty. I'm like, I have what I need when I need it. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I need this again. I need that again. And I have faith and I know it's already there. I'm already living there. But I still have some shit that I have to go through and get through for me to get there. And this is a choice. I wanted to learn to live this way. I wanted to learn to have this life. And now I wouldn't say I've mastered it, but fuck yeah, man. I'm like, this last few days, I've been having such great moments where I'm like, man, the only thing that is interchangeable is I'm like, I could do this way and I'd still be, like living this way. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you need? What do you want? What is your basic needs and survival? at this point, right? And then when you need something else, you call it out into the universe, and then the universe provides it for you. It's already there. You're just going, okay, now I need to go here. It's just the way we think in languaging. You know, I'm trying to speak to all of us in the way that I understand, or I believe that Spirit feels you would understand, if that makes any sense. So you may look at things like, oh, it hasn't turned out the way that I hoped it would. You may think, oh, my dreams are so far out of reach. They're more than ever before. But maybe it's because you need to sacrifice a little bit more, you know, and reassess what you actually want. What is your ideal? And how is it going to impact your emotional and practical health and well-being? You know? Because in the upright, this is your future. And it says you are at a place where you can be proud of your achievements and you're happy for yourself and others. Right? Your goals, and every time you reach a goal, then you go for a new one. Also, it's like, you know, I remember I felt like a failure because I'd always wanted my own shop, and people are like, oh, you always wanted your own shop. I'm like, I did though. I had a little pop-up shop in my one friend's store, and it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't the money she or I thought it was going to be. And we even tried to go into business together, but no matter what I tried to do, it just wasn't working. And then finally I just stopped. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done here. I'm done with them. They're done with me. Like, this is as far as this is meant to go. And, you know, I was very unhappy with the way it ended. I wanted it to end a different way, but it wasn't supposed to, you know, because sometimes things just have to go the way they have to go. Because no matter what you say or do or try to explain to somebody, they're still going to take it from their level of consciousness. Just as you are absorbing your life and your path and your journey through your level of consciousness. So dance towards your goals. Have faith in your goals. And along the way, what are you learning? I whisper to Spirit all the time. I'm like, I still think I'd like to have my own brick and mortar, or like our landlord now, he's super cool and funny, and he collects a lot of interesting vintage things, like big things like signs. You know, that's like, what are you, kind of wheels and deals when people are getting rid of things. Like, he's kind of like the junk man that will come and like take things from people, but then he turns them into like gold, and like, you know, it's kind of like his magic. That's what he loves to do. And he said to me recently, he's like, I see you in a gypsy wagon. He's like, you know, I have a few cool old Airstreams. He's like, if you, well, and I was like, I'm like, I don't know about right now. I'm like, maybe. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe I will. I'm like, maybe I'll have that, or maybe I will have a store eventually. But I feel like I'll know, you know what I mean? Like, I was excited for it to be here, but I was like, I don't think I can handle that stench. And like, what if I want to have my door open that day? And like, I'm like, even if I was doing like, I guess I could do my diffuser. I actually just pulled my diffuser out today, and I almost forgot I had it. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's like, I don't know, maybe I will. But right now, I'm like, this is where I'm at. I'm on, this is like my form of Etsy, right? Like, I'm on YouTube. I'm doing this on YouTube. And people can contribute whether they want to or not, or reach out and do readings with me if they want to. If not, it's like, you know, it's okay. Every time I'm doing this, it's not about what you're going to give me. It's about putting more, you know, good into the universe. The universe will take care of me. They always do, you know, through you guys or through another source. It always works out. So that is the faith that you have to have. And I've learned that through all of my, you know, moving and changing, and through it all, the common thread was that I am a light worker. I'm a starseed. I have a purpose here. How I, you know, show up for that purpose, whether it's doing comedy on Lula's life, or acting out a skit, or, you know, putting my words to a video that I found, that I created in a cool place I found, or, you know what I mean? It's like, that's how I ingest my magic into the world, is through that medium right now. I don't know if I'll always do that. So, you know, I just follow the breadcrumbs, and it's the same for you. Okay, let's see. Do we have any more? So interesting. Okay, so if you were pulled to reading 1, you may want to go and watch that, because look how the light has shifted, and now this one is so bright. And because of the fact that this is this way, I'm going to take this as the end of your reading. So we'll see if this will stay up, or here, let's see if we'll do it over here. but very interesting. I'm going to read this card, but for those of you who have already watched reading 1, you know what I'm talking about, but I don't feel like I'm meant to say anything now. So if you're interested, go and watch it. If not, no worries. It's not your message. Okay, so let's see. The Chariot. That's so crazy. What number is that? 7. Oh, that's my life path number. Do you know what your life path number is? It could help. Some people don't know what their path or their purpose is. I feel like the whole deck wanted to come in here for some reason. It could even be the whole deck came in here to tell you that that's your purpose. Maybe you're a reader. Maybe you're a medium like me, or not like me, but like you have your own gifts and your own set of skills. So I do believe it was upright, so I'm going to start there. And it says the Chariot is a card of steady progression and clear goals. It represents healthy motivation, willpower, and practical application of wisdom. Interesting, too, because Owl was represented in reading 1. Wisdom is their keyword. So the Chariot represents certainty. There is a definitive sense of direction that propels this journey. Challenges are considered, addressed, and overcome. The black and white cats indicate duality, and they look in 2 different directions. The Chariot has no reins and is propelled by force of will. That's so crazy. 2 Bengal cats, silver Bengal cats, showed up on our property, I don't know, in the last week or so. And then just as fast as they were here, they came in and kind of like destroyed, and then they like left. I don't know if they're coming back. I kind of hope they don't. In a loving way, I sent them, where they're meant to be, or I said to Spirit, like wherever they're meant to be, obviously. But yeah, that's so interesting. I feel like there's always little messages in there for all of us. So the Chariot has no reins and is propelled by force of will. So see how he's like literally like being dragged, almost like it feels like his sacral chakra. And the other reading, I had a completely different view of this card. But in this reading, I feel like it's like they're being led by their sacral chakra, which is the divine feminine. And that is where you need to be driven by right now. This has been the common thread for everything. Love, divine feminine, being grounded, not letting the third dimensional energy of our families, friends, past, whatever, like just like really like utilizing the energy, everything, pulling every fucking tool out of your basket that you have acquired, from crystals to healing tools to books, meditation, you name it, Reiki, whatever it is. I'm getting the scratch on my head. Maybe some of you need to go and get a spa treatment. You need to go release some energy, yeah, that's really interesting. So as always, I like to read both meanings because they all have a purpose. So the reverse says the Chariot reverse asks you to integrate your goals and means of achieving them. Oh no, integrate. Isn't that funny? I read that differently, but that is so interesting. The Chariot reverse asks you to interrogate your goals and means of achieving them, like really getting in there. Right? Like being like, okay, what are my goals? What are my dreams? What do I want to do? I feel like this is a message for all of us, right? We can always do better. We can always pinpoint the details a little bit more to help propel us forward into the place we need to be. And maybe it is our sacral chakra that they're trying to pull at us, right? Because that's what it feels like to me. I feel like it's a sacral, it's like we spoke about that in the first reading about, rebirth and creativity. Okay, so that's interesting. So it says, check for undue ruthlessness and question honestly whether the ends are worth the current means. There may be better ways forward. The Chariot may also be telling you that you are being pulled in several different directions, but you can only chart one way forward. Take a step back and figure out what your motivation should be before you continue your journey. Oh my gosh. Okay, so for me, this is really heavy because it's on page 28, which is also the number 10, and it's the number 7. So if you add that together, that's 8, and that is, we're in the year 2024 is 8 in the year of the dragon. But for me, my father was born and died on the 28th, and that's always that representation of divine masculine for me, but also my husband was born on the 28th. So I just had my own little aha moment with that. Right? So you got to take a step back and figure out what your motivation should be. One of the things that I said to my partner recently, why we've been arguing so much, is I'm like, I feel like the scarecrow. I'm like, there's a little bit of me over here and a little bit of me over there. And then I look down and Bubba's molting, my familiar, and it was the same thing. I looked down and there was chunks of her fur all over the ground. Like she has this little spot outside, and so when she's kicking it off, and and I hear and it hurts because she's like fuck it, and she's like trying to rip it off and stuff. It's like we're all going through some some form of transformation. All of us are. There's just literally like every single one of us is going through some form of transformation, and I feel like that's what they're saying to you as well. When you're charting your journey forward, it's like because I feel like what they're trying to show you is like you're here and you want to be here, and you're like wee, and you just want to like go over there, but they're like, yeah, but you need to think about that there are going to be things along the way. Have faith that spirit will pull those blocks out of the way for you, but divine timing is a big deal. So if you're forcing the issue and you're trying to go against divine timing, well then you know what I mean, that's another issue too, right? So they're saying let the divine feminine like propel you forward, take it easy, go slow. And the duality, right, is the shadow and the light. And interesting how we've got the light here, right? Like it's light outside and the mountains are in the background. And then we've got her in here in the shadow and the darkness, like dancing in the dark, right? Bruce Springsteen, love it. And then over here, it's like, even though we started here, I almost feel like this is like where you want to be, but you're on your journey to get there. It's just, there's going to be bumps and bruises along the way. There's no such thing as utopia. Not here, not on this planet, not in this place. And so especially if you're like coming from like an old energy of who you used to be, right? Like even if you're having like, oh, in this lifetime I was a king, or in one of the songs that came to me earlier was something about Orion. So maybe you're from Orion, right? And so you're like, well, when I was on Orion, it's like, yeah, but you're not on Orion right now. And also, I've been hearing this a lot from other readers, and they want me to convey this message as well. If you are in your dream state, if you are astral traveling, it's almost like when we're sleeping, we all have, I never would tell you what to do. We all have different purpose, path, whatever, right? So there's no way on earth I would ever tell you how, when, whatever. But I will say this. If you're astral traveling to avoid what you need to deal with in your subconscious when you're sleeping, then you're probably carrying it into your current life, which is why things feel unbalanced, unstable, unruly, right? Because when you're dreaming, you're like, look at me, I'm so perfect, everything's wonderful, and I love it here, and everything's great. And they're like, yes, but in this world, right? It's like, this is what's really happening. And you have to go, you know what I mean? You have to go out of there and go through this gate into, outside of your perfect world and your perfect bubble and your whatever perfect illusion of what you think whatever is, into the reality of what it is, and enjoy the journey and let your sacral chakra propel you forward. I mean, seriously, if you watch reading one, it's like, it was such the polar opposite of that energy. It's so intense. But that's also why I love tarot and why I love symbology. And when we're using these tools, is that a word? Symbolism, it's like we need these, because as light beings having a human experience, we are just as visual as we are in any other capacity of our learning, and a lot of us are very visual. Especially on this plane, because we notice everything, all the little details and everything that's going on. So, okay, do we have any more messages, Spirit? I don't think so, but I'll ask just in case. Are there any more messages for reading 2 before we move forward? Drink water, stay grounded, get outside, eat healthy foods. And even for our Southern Hemisphere family, I know you're in winter, in colder climates, you eat those good yams, you know what I mean? Like, get those good grounding foods, potatoes, things like that. I think I'm going to make myself some potatoes today. Get some good grounding foods that grow in the earth, the rooted vegetables, beets, carrots, things like that. Also, if your body can't handle raw, then cook it. You're still going to get the nutrients. What I try to do is when I'm going to cook my vegetables, I cook them in something that it's going to go into, you know what I mean? Like in the pan, So I wash it nicely and put it in raw with the things I'm going to cook. And it will cook into everything you're eating. You know, the nutrients may not be as strong, but you're still getting those nutrients. So yeah, I feel like that was a message for somebody. Any other messages, Spirit? Nope, that's it. We love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. All of my information is all over this channel if you'd like to work with me one-on-one in any capacity, or if you'd like to contribute to the wonderful, beautiful work that I do on this channel and on the earth. I thank you so much in advance. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you. Blessed be. Aho. Bye. Welcome. Reading 3, Group 3. Please drink some water right now. My heart is so heavy for you right now. I'm feeling strong fox energy, if that helps. So you may want to work with the fox spirit medicine. I'm feeling like all these kind of sad moments of like, yeah, like I just feel sad. All I can say is I just feel really like this. Like I just want to like hide, and I just want to be like, I'm just feeling like this very emotional, very heavy energy. Like, you know what I'm feeling? My empaths. I'm like, it's the empaths. It's the empaths. It's the empaths. Now, we may all feel empathetic and empathy for others, but there's a huge difference between an actual empath. And I'm just feeling this like very saturated, like, let's put it this way. I spoke about this in the group reading, the Wish You Were Here, from Pink Floyd. And it's like, I feel like this is you guys. Like, I feel like you guys are like, I wish you were here. Like, I wish I wasn't here, you know, like by myself, but you're not by yourself. You're perfectly fine. Sorry, I didn't really adjust myself very well before I started this. I've been doing this for several hours. and I just realized, I'm like, I got to the point where I'm like, I just feel like I'm hanging out with you guys, and I just sit down, but I'm like, oh, I didn't really, I did a fun new altar, but I didn't really reassess my energy, so I apologize. So it's also because I can feel the ungrounded energy, the very ungrounded energy. And they want me to read you something. I didn't know this was going to happen. I just thought I was showing you this because we spoke about a few things here, some mantras. I'm going to read you the mantra first. This was from the Robin Bird Spirit, and it says, I am open to receiving all that love has to offer. Robin Bird Spirit. And then this says love, L-O-V-E, love, L-O-V-E. I'm not even sure what it is or what it means to me. Deer in the headlights, numbness. Trust is hard because people use love as a bargaining tool. I feel love in the movies. I've felt love in books. Music can shatter me in an instant and bring back painful memories of love. Love. Why does it elude me when I have so much of it to give? Not sure that sentence deserves a question mark or not, because I'm still not sure what love is. The end. I wrote that some time ago. You know, because when you're break on through to the other side, when you're breaking through the third dimensional energy into this, it's not even the fifth dimensional energy. I feel like for us, like, we don't have barriers or boundaries, or like, seriously, like, I've been feeling like uncomfortable in my skin and my, like, I just want to move. Like, I'm like, what's happening? Like, I feel like you guys are like antsy and you're pantsy. You can't, you're like, I don't know if I should go here. If you were drawn to reading 2, you really should go watch it, because we spoke about the scarecrow theory, you know, like, you feel like there's some of you over here and some of you over there, but you can't like quite, you know, find your footing or your grounding. And I'm like, it's because you're not from here. And so you have to work on the grounding yourself. You have to remove yourself from the people, the places, the situations. You are in this world, but you're not of it. You're not You know, even it's like I've been trying to dissect like my earth family that I was born into, my blood and bone, and trying to understand like who I am as this entity, um and to understand that certain things, certain people, places, they must be left behind. And you are not alone. And I feel like you're terrified of being alone, and Spirit's like, you are not alone. You know, this amethyst is back here. It's amethyst is a very, very powerful healing crystal. Very powerful healing crystal. And I feel like this one wants to talk to you guys, and it wants to push these other ones back. It wants to talk to you. It wants you to feel their healing love. You get to decide. You get to decide your fate. You get to decide your love. You get to decide. You don't have to play their game. Whoever they are, it's different for everybody. You don't have to hide your big, beautiful heart, your healing heart. You don't have to hide it. You can put it right out there for everybody to see it. You don't need it. You can put this to the side. You can be who you are, especially here with us. If you're new here, welcome. I feel like we got some new people here. Welcome. We love you. You know, love isn't subjective. It's just, unfortunately, in the third dimensional energy, it's like if we haven't healed certain wounds, people will come into our lives and they'll keep poking the bear until we heal the wound. So you have to heal the wound first. And if you're in a constant state of trigger, it's difficult to do that. You know? I don't mean to be grotesque, but if you cut yourself, you don't just pick at it every day, right? Sorry, I'm passing, right? But you treat it and you put something over it to cover it and let it heal. And you let it talk to you. When it starts feeling certain ways, you're like, okay, I need to wash it and put more medicine on. And then cover it again. And then when it starts to feel itchy, that's a good sign, right? Because that means that it's all coming back together. It's healing. It's good. If it's burning, no. Itchy, yes. Itchy is healing. Burning itchy, no. But you hear what I'm saying? It's like you don't just keep picking at the wound. So, you know, we're going to go over this again. I've gone over this so many times, you'd think by now I'd remember it exactly. But, okay, so today's theme is, where is your faith being tested and what is it teaching you? Love, your faith in love is being tested. Love for yourself, love for others, but mostly love for yourself. Because if you're in an environment or situation, you know, it's one of my favorite cartoons that was passed to me from another beautiful soul, that it said, it was a cartoon of a little child and they're bundled up outside and all you can see is their eyes and their cheeks, you know, because they have a hat on and a scarf. And the top of their cheeks and their eyes, and they said, you could tell it's winter, very cold, and they say, the air hurts my face. Why do I live somewhere where the air hurts my face? Right? It's a metaphor, an analogy, whatever you want to look at it, right? It's like, it's saying, if you're in pain and something is constantly bringing you pain, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of the above, doesn't matter. If you are feeling there's one thing of like stepping outside of your comfort zone and you're feeling uncomfortable because you've never tried something before and it's the butterflies, uncomfortable, like exciting, uncomfortable. That's one thing. Uncomfortable, I can't thrive. I feel like I'm dying every day. I can't breathe. If you're drawn to reading one, we spoke about that. Breathe again from Sarah Bareilles, right? If you need to breathe again and it's not in the environment you're in, give yourself that chance to do that. You know, I noticed something recently, especially where I live. It's like there are things posted all the time where it's like $500 a month for a room and a bathroom. I was like, that's, it's like you'll know whether that's the right person or not. But it's like, I realized that I was like, maybe that's what I need to do, is just like go, and I've been through this before. So if you're going through this as well, it's like, sometimes we just need to step outside of our comfort zone and go take care of ourselves for a while. Do a month to month just to see how you feel, just to see how it is. Also, sometimes people will say they're going to change, or they're going to, whatever. And I do it. I've said the same thing. I'm like, but for some reason, we're not changing together because we haven't really worked through that. And for whatever reason, we can't work through that together. But it's the one thing that's stopping us from being the best versions of ourselves. Because that's all Spirit wants, is for us to be the best version of ourselves. To go after what we love every single day. To come from love every single day. That's how we raise the vibration. They're not asking us to be superhero, Hercules, be in the worst situation ever and be like, I'm happy, everything's good. Like, it's like, no, because you're fucking human and you're gonna break and you're gonna, it's at some point, it's gonna, but, right? Where's your faith being tested and what is it teaching you? Drink some water. And I really mean it when I say drink water. I mean it. Even sometimes I watch my own readings back and I'm like, okay, it's for a reason. We need it right now. We need to take really good care of ourselves. It's so vital. It's so vital. And as the Dragon's Gate portal gets closer, as the full moon approaches, there's going to be a big, I don't know, maybe that's why they're having me work so hard today, because I need to just go off the radar over the full moon. But I do know that I'm feeling like I'm going to want to cry and get shit out. You know what I mean? Same for you. Self-care, 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 self-care. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, of course. But in real time, we're gearing up for a doozy of a full moon. And we are in the 4th energy, meaning like we've already had Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and now Cancer. Fire, earth, air, water. And then we're going into fire again, right? So this is about burning it off. That's why Aries begins it and Pisces ends it, right? Because it's at the end of that really heavy water energy, and then we burst from the end of the zodiac and we go into fire, so we can burn away that last zodiac year, right? We can burn all of that stuff away. It's the same right now. We're working through this really heavy shit. We're reconnecting with our faith and spirit and really asking ourselves, what does faith mean? What does faith mean to you? What does belief mean to you? I'm working through the ends of one of my addictions, and it has been brutal. And I'm grateful that my partner and I took some time apart. I'm so grateful for it. I don't know who will be at the end of this, but right now I am so grateful for where I am, exactly where I am. You will get through this, I promise you. I love you so much. Spirit loves you. You got this. Let's see if we have any cards. This was intense. I felt this before I came in. I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, this is some heavy. I almost didn't want to do it just because, what is this? I don't know how I'm over 2 hours here, and then I did a channeling before this, and then I did, yeah, I've been working for like 4 or 5 hours, but I love it. I love it sometimes when they just have me kind of go balls to the wall and I just do so much work in one day. So follow the breadcrumbs in the comments. I like to put it in the comments section and the description. Sometimes I forget one or the other, but follow the breadcrumbs. And thank you so much for the donations, and ahead of time, thank you so much. And for those of you who want to work with me, I am on fire. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling some good energy. Probably not till after the hump of this moon, but in Leo fire, Leo energy, and definitely for Lionsgate, I'm thinking, I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, listen to me. Listen to my third dimensional trying to like plan shit. I hear myself. Anyway, it's all over my channel. All my other stuff too. So, woo! Okay, and a big heavy. I'm gonna do a quick from reading 2. Okay, so. Oh! So I don't know if this means anything. So I think those are going to be short. So they told me to push those to the side. It was like a quickie. Oh my gosh. This card has come up for us in the past. I think I just created a shorts with this, or anyway, it doesn't matter. Powerful. Powerful. right? So where is your faith shaky and where is it teaching you? Where are you being tested? Okay, let me put my little readers on. Okay, so this is the Eight of Swords. And interesting, we've been talking about eights a lot, and we know 2024 is a 8-year. And it's the year of the dragon. And dragons, the 8 is the infinity symbol for the dragon. So I feel like this is really, really powerful for you guys. And it was upright, but I like to read both. I don't know if this one is for you or not, so I'm just going to, it's kind of on me, so I feel like it is. Let me see if we have any more cards right now. There's none on that side. Okay, there's one there. So I'm going to leave that there and put this, I'm going to leave that there. Okay. There's so many things that want to talk right now. I'm like, I'm getting the book. Okay. Well, because they can tell I'm running out of energy. But it's been nice. The other thing too, the time alone, especially if you sleep with another person in a bed, it's good to take that time. Some people don't even sleep in the same bed as their partners, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Sometimes I sleep on the couch, and he'll be like, "Oh, you slept on the couch again?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, sometimes I just want to sleep alone, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so the Eight of Swords upright. This says, the Eight of Swords reveals that you are caught. You are trapped in your bad habits, your deceptions, and your denials. You keep trying to explain your way out of your emotional problems without ever touching the heart of the matter. Oh, this one's hitting me in the core. How about you guys? Okay, this vicious cycle is emboldened by people in your orbit who make you doubt your feelings. You know what? This is so interesting. Tell me, please feel free to share below. But I'm getting personal with you guys about stuff because I feel like if I don't, right, like we're here to teach each other and be the student at the same time. So what's so interesting to me about that is our vicious cycle is he's the withholder of love. I know he loves me, but he doesn't like show it, or it's like I have to push it. I have to, you know, he's not on a natural vibration, even though his soul and that speaks to me is on a natural vibration, natural high vibration. There's so much stuff that he's still going through, that he's sifting through, and being in the divine masculine and all that stuff. And so that's why I'm like, I feel like until we heal those things, I don't think we could ever move forward, because we'll keep going through the same cycle, and I can't keep my energy like super high all the time when somebody else's energy is down here. And then he's just trying to make me happy, and then, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the cycle. And it's not all him and it's not all me. It's our triggers and our shit. So where are you having your patterns with people, and are you recognizing that it's a pattern? You know, because that's what I'm saying is like, I'm like, dude, it's a pattern. And it's an unhealthy pattern, and it's a cycle, and we're not moving. We get to these points where we're almost there, and then something just fucking obliterates. One or both of us do it. And so, you know, how do you heal? So the reverse says, you cling to your worst habits because you fear that your personal progress will isolate you from those who do not want you to change. Even though you are aware of the toxic nature of this sort of relationship, you cannot bring yourself to do what is best for you. You hold onto the things that hurt you because you think belonging is more important than being free. Wow. Oh my gosh. Fucking mind blown right now. I just had so many breakthroughs. Did you guys? I just had so many breakthroughs. Oh my gosh. I need to drink some water if you want. I'm definitely drinking some water. Wish you were here. That's right. Because the key here is, what is it teaching us? So I'm going to read these lyrics again because I read them in the collective, but I'm going to read them for you in case you didn't watch the collective reading before this. And it says, so you think you can tell heaven from hell, right? Blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees? Hot air for a cool breeze? Cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year, running over the same old ground. But what have we found? The same old fears. I wish you were here. Yeah, because we wish that side of ourselves, right? And it's like, I want to live in that side of myself. Of course I'm going to have days, moments where I have triggers. I can be in the grocery store and hear a fucking song and start break down crying, right? But then I work through it. And I move on. I don't sulk in it and live in it for moments and days on end. That doesn't work for me. But some people need to be in that sullen energy. They need to feel that. And that's okay. I've been there. But if you're somewhere else, you cannot stay in a vibration, because it's just going to tear you down. Empaths, sensitives, lightworkers, starseeds, witches, healers, and deep down believers in magic. Right? You can't constantly be holding up the energy for everybody. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. They're like, aren't you fucking tired? They're like, we're tired for you. That's why we send you energy and the cute butterflies and the signs and the symbols. But, you know, and they're like, but when are you going to let it go? You're in the mindful madness. You need to be the observer. The Robin Spirit says, I am open to receiving all that love has to offer. We have to really be open to it. You know, I'm going to share something with you. So, one of the things that's been really helpful in our relationship, my personal relationship with my partner, is that I'm always kind of like, oh, like there's this like inherent like goofy, you know, dog inside of me that just wants to love everybody and lick everybody and have a good time. That's so funny. Ha ha ha. And that's the dirty side, but you know what I mean. Right? It's like, I want to be that, you know, playful, you know, I used to say playful puppy, but no, I'm like, no, I'm a playful dog. No age, right? Like, just like that wants everybody to have a good time. But even so, after a while, I can only do so much. And if they're going to stay in the, what? I'm fine. I'm like, you're not fine though. I'm like, you're not fine. If your constant state of being is a low vibration, you're not fine. I'm not saying you have to be pinging off the walls every 2 minutes. But there's like, oh, I'm tired. And then there's just like an exhaustive energy that's like depleted. And that's what I realized. I was like, something's wrong. Something's off. I'm like, I don't know if we need to just, you know, be like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell and just be like, we're not, you know, we never got legally like United States, like legally married, you know, by the courts. But we had a betrothal in the woods, and that was our, you know, our wedding to each other. So it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like we are just friends, and it's like if things happen between us then it's cool, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's like, I don't know. Or like, you know, because Goldie Hawn said that that's what made her relationship work, is that, you know, she's like, they'd both been married before and they didn't want to be married again because they felt like they couldn't be free. And I think there's something really powerful about that. So whether you feel married to your job, your family, is your significant other, whatever it is, you know, what is it that is going to help you be free? Because I feel like what they're saying is like, you're just walking around with blinders on and your wings are tethered. They're not even tethered. They're just like, you're not really technically, it's like you're the one that's blinding yourself, right? Like, look how loose the ribbon is. It's like they can just like move their head a little bit and like it would come off, you know, right? It's like you're surrounded. And I have to me, that's interesting because I've got a triple Gemini, all those swords, those air signs, you know. And I said to him, I'm like, maybe we just were each other's greatest teachers. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I would rather walk away with love in our hearts and like be like, thank you so fucking much, man. Thank you for the last 9 years. Like, thank you so much. And that might be, you know, I'm like, there's a part of me that feels that way, but also I can feel the death side, so it could be that too. I guess it just depends on, you know, what happens, but that's my story. What's yours? You need to ask yourself, you know, like, what is it? So it says, you cling to your worst habits because you fear that your personal progress will isolate you from those who do not want you to change. Even though you're aware of the toxic nature of this sort of relationship, you cannot bring yourself to do what's best for you. You hold on to the things that hurt you because you think belonging is more important than being free. They had me read it again. Also, it's on page 101. That's been our theme, like 101, 11. My partner and I, we got married on 11/11/2020. And even then, it's like, I almost felt like we got married just to like prove that like we made it. Like, look at us, like we made it through these battles and blah blah blah, like, you know. And I'm like, but I don't know, sometimes I feel like it just made things harder and worse on our psyche, but who's to say. Okay, so there is one on the bottom, and it's the Ace of Swords. Okay, so maybe you're dealing with an air sign too. So we have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius are the air signs. So these could be people that are in your life, and this is in reverse. And I feel like it's interesting that it's reversed, because I feel like the way I'm hearing it is like the buck stops here. Like, enough. You're going to get to a point where you're going to say, I am alive, I am awake, I am free. That's a message from Galactica. I am alive, I am awake, I am free. None of us belong to each other. We're not tethered to each other. I'd rather he and I both go live on our own and still be together, you know what I mean? But like, maybe we do need to just live apart, temporarily or forever. You know, some people, it was, oh gosh, drink some water. I can't think of her name. Hold on. Helena Bonham Carter and Tim Burton. Same thing. I think they were married before, you know, whatever, and they decided to have a family together and raise children together. So they, in London, they bought 2 flats that were connected to each other, but they didn't have access to each other. But they built a hallway in between the 2 homes so that the kids could go there, and they had their own homes. She said it really, for 8 years, she goes, it really genuinely worked for us. Like, it was so fun. We all enjoyed it. It was great. You know, she's like, I felt like we had time. The kids had, I'm paraphrasing, you know, she's like, we had our time together, the kids, and whatever. And then they broke up. I don't know if I have the details perfect, but so this has been an ongoing theme. You know, I feel like for some of us as light workers and starseeds, we're not meant to have romantic relationships all the time. Or maybe you've gotten to the point where you may never have any more romantic relationships until you leave this earth. That's okay. You know, I mean, some people are not sexual at all. It's like, you know, I know that I've been going through a lot of my own stuff with that. And then recently I was like, no, I think it just depends on the person or like the situation or like how you're feeling. And if you're constantly fighting, it's hard to stay in the love bubble when there's constant friction. So I feel like maybe that's what they're trying to say is like, it's time to like, you know, put your sword down and like be like, I'm out, you know, like I'm solo. I need to do my own thing. This has literally been such an ongoing thread for our tribe. And it makes sense. It really does, because, you know, the work that we're doing here is so powerful that, you know, we don't have time to keep, you know, we're working on ourselves, and we do want to help other people, but we don't have time to just put our focus on just like one or a couple people. It really needs to be much broader. So the reverse meaning is, the reversed ace indicates an incomplete understanding of your goals and aspirations. Perhaps your understanding is too broad and you have not yet narrowed your focus. Take things one step at a time and cover your bases, throat chakra, speak your truth in achievable increments. Right? So maybe you know that you need to do this, but you're like, I can't do this overnight. They're like, okay, well, you know, start saving your money, you know, put money aside that they don't know about, so that you are just saving to go and have your life wherever you need to have it, you know. And in the meantime, spend as much time away from them as possible. Join a group, you know, the Jane Austen book club, movie came out free on YouTube and this month, and I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, that's such a great way, like a book club, something like that, you know, like to join, that gets you out of your house like at least once a month. If you're not good with people, at least once a month, or the energy right now. But if you're with like-minded people, you know, maybe put something, you know, at a local crystal shop or something. That's come up a lot before too, you know, where speaking your truth, drink some more water, stay hydrated, and not letting the airy energy pull you off your game or off your, you know, what you're meant to do. Okay? So it says, take things, well, okay, we said that. Uncertainty may also prevent you from engaging in a challenging situation, right? Uncertainty, of course, because we're like, but do I, is it, you know, and I'm getting the vibe like, it's such a third dimensional energy and thinking. I'm sorry, but I feel like they keep having me say this because it's true for us to say like it's all or nothing. So do I break up with them? It's like, for now, just take it one step at a time. And if they're like, so are you breaking up with me? Be like, I'm just taking a sabbatical. I need to take a break. Like whatever languaging you need to use, just to be like, I need to take a break from you, from the world, like myself, like whatever, you know? Hold on. I heard some of you, you're like, I want to go camping. Then go camping. Go camp by yourself. Speak to your angels. You will be divinely protected. Follow the breadcrumbs. Follow the breadcrumbs. Follow the breadcrumbs. Don't go in fear, okay? Take things one step at a time. Uncertainty. See, all I'm feeling is fear right now. It says judgment is clouded. And judgment is interesting because that's the sign of Libra. So it could be somebody that you're dealing with is a Libra. Judgment is clouded. Important pieces of information might be missing, or you are overwhelmed by potential pathways with no clear sense of direction. Okay, here is what's it coming to? My control. These are my controlling people, right? Like we want to control everything. We want to make sure, oh, dude, it's been seeping out with me too. Because I feel like I'm trying to go with the flow and my partner's trying to go with the flow, but our flows aren't going together. So then it's like, you know, yeah, dude, this is like very interesting. I feel like this is such good medicine for all of us. I literally do. Like, I feel like there's such good medicine in here for all of us. Like, it's not just like one. There's just so much good energy and medicine for all of us. I really hear it, Spirit. And I feel like I need a pillow right now. I'm like, I feel like this shit is getting real. This shit is getting real. It's getting real. It's getting real up in here. Oh, that looks nice there. Okay. So, judgment is clouded. Important pieces of information might be missing, or you are overwhelmed by potential pathways, right? Because you can't see what's in front of you. What did we just say? Faith. That's what it is. If you can't control it, even if something quote unquote goes wrong, how do you not know that that thing that went wrong is going to lead you to the thing that helps you get to something right? And maybe, ooh, interesting that this fell, and maybe this air sign, I'm getting a little download for myself, maybe this air sign knows a little bit more than we give them credit for. Maybe the air sign is there to teach us the lessons that if not in our lives, we would have never gotten to where we are in this moment. So we thank them with grace and gratitude. Thank you, Spirit. So, you find chaos instead of clarity. Holy shit. You find chaos instead of clarity. And it's number 94, which is also the number 13, which is the divine goddess number, which is also 4 when you add it together, which is about foundation and strength and having faith. And you know what? Maybe the lack of faith is in yourself. And that's why they've been drawing all of us, because most of us, if you're here, if you found yourself here, right? You're the freak, you're the weirdo. I know I was. We were told to doubt ourselves from fucking day one, man. Doubt ourselves. Doubt our inherent nature to be magic. To say, I am the beginning, I am the end. You know what else the Gemini is? The great communicator, air sign. Great communicator. So maybe it's time for us to communicate with ourselves and our divine creator so that we can be the best version of ourselves when we show up for others. And maybe we do need to, and that's not saying permanently, but maybe you're like, I need to go away for a day. I need to go away for a week. I need to go away for a month, a year, whatever the fuck it takes. Maybe you need to go completely outside your comfort zone to another country, another place. You know, maybe you have a cousin that lives in Hawaii and you're like, I want to go live in Hawaii for 6 months, and be like, hey cuz, can I help around the house? Can I do something? You know, somebody can get me a job so I can help out there. I'm saying that because I got these awesome groovy pants. They're like vintage from Hawaii, but I got them at a thrift store. I'm in love with them. They're so cozy. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's like, it's all in the way you look at things. It's all in the way you view things. So, as always, I like to read both sides of the story. So in the upright position, the Ace of Swords indicates intense focus, clarity, and an unyielding resolve. The ace usually refers to the beginning of a realization, a breakthrough moment where goals that previously were poorly understood are seen fresh. Reasoning, inspiration, and creative ways of approaching challenges let me start over because this is good. Let's start this one over. Reasoning, inspiration, and creative ways of approaching challenges make way for greater insight. Oh, and these, my friends, are your messages, Spirit said. Because, I mean, it's like, does it get any better than that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh my gosh. So I hope these helped you in any way. As I've mentioned, all of my information is on this channel if you would like to reach out, if you'd like to have any, you know, readings, sessions. I also do recorded sessions. I actually really enjoy recorded sessions. They're like my low-cost option. And if you're interested, you can email me, magicalmedium@gmail.com. All of my information's on here. I have different price points for what you need. And also, sometimes Spirit, you know, is like, you just need this or this, blah, 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 you know, whatever. And the videos are really nice because I leave them there and nobody has access to that link but you or myself. So if you give it to someone, that's up to you. But yeah, and that is a great way for you to reference and go back sometimes. Sometimes I really like to go back to readings and I, you know, get a different, deeper insight into what was happening with me at that time, because the reading is always what's happening at that time and the consciousness level that you're at the time. So I am open and ready for business, baby. So reach out if you'd like to. If not, please keep coming back. And thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting. All of that really helps with the algorithms. If you stuck through here with me for all of these 2 hours and 40 plus minutes, thank you, thank you, thank you. With grace and gratitude, I thank you. And I do not believe I'm doing any more readings. If it is, it'll be a bonus reading, but I believe that we're stopping here because I'm quite exhausted. So I believe that we're stopping here, but follow the breadcrumbs to all the other things and keep looking out for other stuff when they come up. And thank you for subscribing to Baba and Lula's Life as well. That really helps in the algorithms for that as well. Baba's channel is really growing. She is adorable. I love her. Okay, I love you guys. Take really good care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh.